Hey now, everybody! Surprise, surprise! We're back, and we laid off our announcer, so no intro today for E321 of the SWTS. That's right, he is gone. Fired that dude. He was getting lazy. He was getting a little ornery with us when we weren't giving him scripts to read early so he could know what to say about the Acolyte series many weeks ago. But we're here. That's right. Budget cuts. That's right. Props. Budget cuts.
Budget cuts.
It's either that or the host of the show here, right here, this guy, if you're on the live stream. I'm coming off of a week of hunkering down in a hurricane. So I'm a little loopy. Kind of forget.
Oh yeah, you guys were in the
terrible.
What is it? The Debbie or Betty?
What, Debbie. Yeah, we got Debbie. Oh, Debbie. It was one of the shittiest weather trips I've ever had in my entire life. So 44. I guess that's good for me. Hey, now they're divided.
I mean, not bad.
But it was rough. I mean, Debbie started to come in like the weekend we got there. So we were getting lashed by the tails of it as it was in Florida, because I was down in South Carolina on an island. Then it literally hit right where we're at. I mean, we were in the middle of the eye and it was just like rotating every 3 hours. You just get deluged. A full day of rain. I mean, we're talking probably 36 hours straight, floods, power outages, condo was going in and out. So yeah, very relaxing.
Oh man. Okay. I think my stream was behind. Okay. Everybody can see and hear us. Good. We're good.
We're good.
But yeah, I mean, I've lived through many hurricanes, so I am very familiar with that feeling and everything that comes along with it. But I'm glad that you guys made it out safe and that you guys weren't affected too badly by it.
Yeah. You can tell where I was at. A lot of well-to-do people go there. Not that I'm one of them. These motherfuckers, they were literally renting vacation homes for the week, thousands of dollars, and they were leaving Sunday. They're just like, fuck it. We're out. We're not even gonna try to stay. I mean, which I don't really understand that. It didn't get that bad. I never felt like my life was in danger. I just felt like, man, this weather is awful. And it sucks sitting in a condo instead of out on the sand. But oh well. We're back. We had D23 in between. Some other stuff happened. I'm not in the best mood. I'm trying my best to pretend like I want to be here right now, but I'll get there. I've been looking forward to this, but I don't know. The old head's in a situation. Go look up Jelly Roll. I'm Not Okay. Right. That's like my new theme song. I'm not a huge country guy, but I kind of like what the words he has in that song, and it kind of makes sense for a day like today. But hey, we're here with our friends, right? Nick's here. Matt's back. We've got Bat in the chat, Tones, Divided Skywalker, Michael Kramer, Props, Johnny, Devin. Wow, JRO making their return in the league. Welcome, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, if you want to join the live stream, we do them Wednesdays, 5 p. Eastern, as close as we can get. YouTube.com/Star Wars Time Show. Woohoo!
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well,
yeah, honestly, man, I forgot that D23 was happening. And then like it kicks off and I just see like all the news stories popping up. I was like, oh yeah, fucking D23 is going on. Like that's
kind of surprising because I know you're not like you're not, I don't want to accuse Nick of being anti-pop culture, but he's not a nut like me. Like he's not in it. He's not looking for shit. And I actually am jealous of him because he's able to kind of just be a normal person. But knowing your Disney loyalty, it is kind of surprising that you, a Disney super fan, and this is like pre-Star Wars Disney, Nick has always been a Mouseketeer. But it's surprising you were like, fuck, who gives a shit?
I mean, honestly, the funny thing is, I mean, we're going to have lots of conversations around, mostly Mando and Grogu and then Skeleton Crew and maybe touch on a couple other little things. But honestly, like the D23 for me, like the most exciting stuff was all of the new stuff coming to the parks, like I don't know if you like paid attention to any of that.
Not really. So go for it.
But, some of the stuff coming to the parks is awesome. Brand new Indiana Jones ride coming to Disney World in Florida, which I'm super hyped for.
Is it going to be like a mine car thing or what's the angle?
I think it is. I think it is going to be kind of like so in Disney World right now, the only Indiana Jones attraction that they have is like a stunt show, which is fun to watch.
Yep, I've seen it. That's one of the things I have done.
Yeah. And the new ride is going to be like a motion car along a track ride that's like really fully built out. So I'm excited about that. But the one thing that I'm really stoked about is there is an expansion coming to Disney World Florida that's adding a villains land. So all of the Disney villains and like the design of it is going to be very like villainous, and like the pre-rendered drawings and stuff look really awesome.
So Nick, is that what's going into the Halcyon Hotel building?
No, it's that. I don't know what's going to end up going there, but I do know that it will be in Magic Kingdom. So it's not going to be in the same park as the Star Wars land. Okay. So
has anything happened with the Halcyon? Is it just like there now? I mean, are they going to turn to a normal hotel? Anybody know in the stream or Nick?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously we know that it's shut down and they're not going to be, housing people in anymore. I assume that since that hotel is directly connected to Galaxy's Edge, that at some point in the future, they're just going to take that and redevelop it into a part of that, and a part of Galaxy's Edge. Right. But nothing announced as of yet.
I figure, you got it set up as a hotel. Just scale it down, take out the themed bullshit, and there we go.
Yeah, that was my take on it, is like, just because it can't be, or like it's not going to be what it was, like this super immersive hotel experience, doesn't mean that it still can't be a Star Wars themed hotel. Like it seems like that would be the appropriate move. But unsure of what's going to happen there. But yeah, I mean, like,
there's also
stuff I was super hyped about.
Ride-wise, Nick, Mandalorian Grogu coming to the Falcon ride.
Yes, they're adding Mandalorian Grogu stuff to the Falcon ride, so I'm super.
Will that be the first new adventure for that ride since it opened then?
It will be. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be the first new addition to the Smuggler's Run. So that'll be super fun.
Star Tours is either already got some updated rides or they're getting them too, right?
Yeah, Star Tours always kind of rotates stuff in as new properties come out. So, the sequel trilogy stuff was in there pretty soon after the release of each movie. And you're going to have probably some Mandalorian and Grogu stuff added to that as well. So,
well, I know you're not in the collectible scene, but some people that listen to the show are, and I'm sure they saw that the big draw over D23, or I don't know if it was announced then or the window opened then, but Nick, you could get the actual Star Tours shuttle in toy form, and it had the droid, and I think it actually had a working screen with what the fans would have seen on the ride. So that was the big collectible from D23. All right.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see some of the new stuff in the parks, and then obviously some of the new stuff that's coming out in theaters and on Disney Plus. So,
and we will surely get there. But as we like to do, at least when my dumbass remembers it before we get too deep into Tangent Land, is a little Ask Us Anything. That's right. We got some questions from the fans. Some of them we may have already answered. Some we may be punting to our D23 Star Wars segment. But Nick, here we go. Let's see what they had to say while we were gone. Let me bring up the screen here for everyone watching. All right. So, young Nick, the first one coming from Spa Spencer here. Thoughts on seeing Star Wars suburbs? What other planet suburbs would you want to see? So this is one, Spencer. I'm going to punt on the Star Wars suburbs to Skeleton Crew because I assume that's what you're going for. So the next question, what other planet suburbs would you want to see, Nick? What do you think? Like in Star Wars, or hell, maybe even our own universe. Where would you like to see a suburb?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've seen some of the suburbs of Coruscant already, like the different levels I would consider suburbs, but I also don't feel like that's like a very livable planet.
Right.
I mean, honestly, if we're going to go back, I would want to see the suburbs of Alderaan, because Alderaan was such a beautiful planet, right? It was lush. It was very mountainous and hilly, all the places that we had ever seen on Alderaan, which wasn't much. Like the most that we've seen on Alderaan in like a live action sense was in the Kenobi series. And then obviously if you've played through that planet on any of the video games that it was included on. But I do think that it would be really cool to see like the suburbs of Alderaan and like where the people of that planet lived. So that would probably be my choice.
I like that. I guess just because you picked lush, good team type of planet, I'll throw out Naboo.
Naboo would be awesome too. Yeah, that would be really cool.
Let's go, check out Padme's, childhood home. Although I think there's a deleted scene that was supposed to be of Padme introducing Anakin to her parents. Yeah, there you go, Spa. So Naboo and Alderaan, and we will address your first question there because I'm pretty sure, like I said, he's angling it towards Skeleton Crew because as I was telling Nick before we went live, I'm like, it really feels like for the first time in Star Wars that our planet is in Star Wars. I mean, we'll get there, but it looks like Earth. A suburb on a futuristic Earth, and that's pretty neat to me, as a lot of the things I kind of saw from Skeleton Crew. So as we kind of told you, I really think it is lining up to be Goonies in space, and that could be a good thing. Although I already know the nuts are out there getting upset, but who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Palanca's saying, interesting to see the suburbs of Kashyyyk up there in those big... big Kashyykian trees.
Yeah. I mean, if you've only watched the original trilogy of Star Wars, you must think that like, man, this galaxy, they're either super underdeveloped or like there was some sort of like galactic wide catastrophe that made every planet just like either desert, snow, or just full forest.
I mean, dude, when you were a kid and you used to see the blue words come up a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, sure. This is just fucking history. It's, it's in the past, a long time ago.
Exactly.
I always like my little stupid brain just was like, yeah, this is a historical drama, if you will.
It was such a funny way to like, you watch Star Wars and it is kind of like, I don't want to say it's anachronistic, but like it kind of is because it like what you're seeing in the movies are so weird because you're seeing like this desolated planet that you're first introduced to on Tatooine where people are literally living in like
hovels.
Yeah. Like just like stuff made out of like
destitute.
materials
like it's
that
just
they
destitute.
have found. And then in the same breath, you see somebody on a land speeder that's floating above the ground and like these giant spaceships that are flying
laser
overhead
swords,
and everything.
laser guns. Like, I mean,
it was
he did make a very interesting choice to have everything kind of I know it was analog back then because it was the 70s, but it's still, as Nick said, it fit the mantra of a long time ago.
Yeah.
All right. Next question here. And like I said, there are a few that are Skeleton Crew related, so we appreciate those. We're just going to punt that actual discussion to our breakdown here. But one coming from Michael Kramer here. Mike's a Clemson fan. I'm a Buckeye, Mike. I'm a Buckeye, and you guys fucked us up a few years. God damn it! All right. Anyways, biggest takeaway from D23 is that I am not that engaged with this type of stuff anymore, and I think that's a win.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's always healthy to have a distance from stuff, especially stuff that you enjoy, because we see what happens when people get too close to the properties that they enjoy. They can get really toxic.
Kramer's brother's a coach at Clemson.
Oh, shit.
Please tell me it's not Dabo Sweeney. Yeah, Nick, it's just like, and I wish I wasn't this way, but even today I was talking to Heather. I'm like, fucking Skeleton Crew is going to destroy me because of my mental problems. I mean, I listen, people, if you heard our last show and I had the revelation that the Skeleton Crew cadence is literally going to be Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, my head almost exploded. Like, it's just going, I don't want to do it. Those are my 2 weeks to shut down. I have a few weeks throughout the year, Nick, where I shut the fuck down and do nothing. So I don't know how I'm going to handle that.
You can still do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess my biggest takeaway from D23, aside from all like the Disney park stuff, which is like close to me, was it was actually Acolyte related. And I thought that it was a very telling move on Disney's part, because D23 is Disney owned, operated. They choose everybody who's on stage, everything. Like, this isn't like, San Diego Comic-Con where they can pick and choose who they want to put on stage. Like the fact that they put Manny on stage and they put the Acolyte kind of front and center and let those people, after this show has finished its run, like go up there and really talk about their experiences, and then allowed Manny to say like, hey, hopefully we can do it again, gave me a little bit of encouragement that show may be getting a second season, or that there is some thought on Disney's end that like there could be a continuation in the future for this show, because they didn't need to do that, right? Like the show's over. It's like people have said their piece about it. The social media buzz around the show has slowed down. So they didn't really need to put that front and center. Like usually D23 is about like, hey, here's everything that's coming.
Yeah, it's like upcoming stuff.
Yeah, and it's not really talking about the stuff that's already come out. So I thought it was very interesting that they gave Manny and the Acolyte that stage to really talk about the experience and put it out there to the people in attendance and the people watching that like, hey, we are really hoping for a second season here.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about it that way. I mean, I know they kind of trotted them out there, and let's be real. As Nick said, Disney controls everything. That's why they picked Manny of all people. I think they at least realized like Manny, his performance, his character, that he was the breakout. Everything, like himself and his character. The both of those people, or the same person, they were the shining light of the Acolytes. So I hope Nick is right. The fact that they decide to eat up some prime stage time to bring out an Acolyte cast member is very curious. And as you know, over here in SWTS land, we're somewhat not normal, but definitely not as triggered and intense as some of the fans that really hated the show. So we're all for it. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Next one. Thank you there, Michael Kramer. I think Mike might have 2 this week. We'll see. All right. Tiger Lily 8118.
It's a new commenter.
I like this. Here you go.
Welcome to the Star Wars Time Show.
How do you feel about the time jumps planned in Andor? Year-long jumps every 3 episodes. Well, here's the deal. Nick and I have known about this for, it feels like 4 or 5 years. So this wasn't news to us, or I would think to most people that have been either listening to us or just reading trades. We're going to address a similar question from BC Scrubs, but this has been the plan at least since Andor season 1 was out.
Yeah, I remember Tony talking about it, saying that they wanted to cover as much time as possible in season 2. So yeah. I know, and I guess I should have put BC Scrubs next, because his was kind of like, hey, we'll just wait till you get it to. So I feel I like it. I knew it was coming. It makes sense to me. We already know that Lord Gilroy knows what he's doing, so I have absolute faith that each 3 episode block out of the 12 total they're gonna be bangers. It's gonna be setup, peril, conclusion next year. I mean, that's going to be the formula. And I think one of the zones or one of the year-long periods, we will get the K2SO. One of the periods we will get, as we saw through some of the footage or some people saw, we may or may not have it linked in our Discord still. It's open. Check it out. But yeah, hey, Kramer, like I said, if you get in the Star Wars Time Discord, I think the link may still be working because it's a European Twitter, and apparently European Twitter are allowed to steal content and post it and not have it removed. Dude, you can do anything on Twitter. There's no moderation over there.
Right.
They don't give a fuck about anything. As long as they can get somebody to use that site, they're like, post whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I grabbed some screens from the sizzle, so we'll be seeing those as we talk about the stuff. And it was true B-roll. I mean, there was some finished scenes. There was others you could see, just BTS type of stuff. I wouldn't say anything really eye-opening came out of Andor, and we'll talk more about that. But back to Tiger Lily, all for it, no problem.
Yeah,
expected
as long as the only thing I'll say is like, as long as you can tell that there's a time jump, and it's not like, okay, well, the first 3 episodes and the next 3 episodes just seem like they were all in the same time period. As long as there's a good delineation between like, hey, this is 3 episodes, a year break, another 3 episodes, then yeah, I mean, I think it'll be okay.
My question to you then, young Nick, does Tony the God put that up on screen, or is he like, you fucking idiots better figure it out because I'm Lord Gilroy?
I don't think that he's gonna do like a title card that says like 1 year later.
Okay.
Because I think that he thinks that he is above that.
I was gonna say
storytelling.
Right answer, because that shit's beneath him. So yes.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be done fine. Listen, he and the cast have given us no reason to doubt the way he writes and the way he kind of architected this second season. I believe each director he's using is getting the 3 episode block, so you should have very strong continuity in between the 3 episode runs for a year to give us our 4 year stretch. So all for it there, Tiger Lily. Thank you for the question if you're listening. All right, Scion XTC, old school fando. If you could have any Star Wars creature, not an Ewok, Spencer family, as a pet, what would it be?
I mean, I think that my answer would probably just be a Loth cat because they're very they're pretty cute.
Damn.
You know?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Loth cats are pretty cute. They're intelligent. So that would probably be my initial choice.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like there's like act dogs, but act dogs are like vicious creatures, and they're not like super fluffy.
You're on to something with the Loth, because I now you took the cat, I would just take the Loth wolf.
Yeah, there you go.
But if we want to get into some sort of like weird shit, child trafficking, I would take Grogu as my pet.
You would there you go. Yeah, Grogu. I mean, there's a bunch of them, right? Like you could do a porg. You could have a little porg.
Oh yeah.
Pet. You could, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that you could have a Morai as a pet because I don't think a Morai would stay in a bird cage. But if you had a Morai and you trained it to you're like
back locking up Ahsoka's force spirit. Yes. Nick, way to go, bro. I guess that's almost as bad as me taking a child and saying it's a pet. So
yeah.
There you go. Kramer had Loth Wolf. Real quick, back to
Charhound.
Mike's asking, do you think we will see Death Troopers in season 2 of Andor? That's a yes.
I think so.
I'm almost positive they're in the sizzle reel. I might have missed them, but I think they do show up.
Tauntauns would be cool tones, but it's hard to where would you keep it, right? They're pretty big. You'd have to have you'd almost have to treat it like a horse, right?
Zillow
when you have like
beast.
A horse stable and Zillow beast. Matt wants the whole Zillow beast.
Look, Mike Kramer's like me. He wants Babu Frick as a pet, so he's taking
y'all are just enslaving
That's
people.
what I mean.
Yeah,
that's what I said. This is like kind of quasi child trafficking, but hey, we're having fun here.
That's not cool.
Good question. Tauntaun. That's right. I'll take an Opie, right? Obi-Wan had an Opie pet. Opie. They have a lot of gas though, so you got to watch out. All right, good one there, Scion. Rippick Tan. S Crew looked pretty cool. Anyone else bum? Lil Rebo just talking basic.
I guess so. My thought on this is I kind of take the native language that anybody talks in Star Wars the same way that the native language of anybody who lives in different parts of the world would have. So maybe where little Max Rebo grew up, basic is just Max the standard.
His name's Neil, everyone. Come on.
His name's Neil. Come on. We know.
Of course I studied all their names.
But I think that it really depends on where you grow up, right? Just because you're of Asian heritage doesn't mean that you speak a native Asian language, right? If you grow up in the United States and you're born in the United States, you probably speak English as your first language. Whereas
Nick's been through his DEI training.
But that's how I think about it, right? It's wherever you're born, whatever the native language of that place is probably going to be one of your
you're right
your native tongues.
It's called an implicit bias where we're oh, they are Asian, so they only speak Asian languages, where you don't know that. So yeah, all for it. Little Neil didn't really bum me out. I'm kind of like Nick, and I didn't want to be reading subtitles anyways. And have we ever heard Max Rebo even speak? I mean,
I would say I don't know.
They may be mute for all we know and just play in those circular keyboard things. Yeah, that's how he talks. Right. He talks with music.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie though. Neil's looking strong. I think I'm gonna dig this little character. I do dig him. I mean, you gotta like a Rebo, as we're calling him now. And he's got fucking like Oshkosh Bagosh on, man. Come on. Yeah. It's awesome.
Dude, his little like comb over hairdo too.
Yeah. Just fantastic. All right, good one there, Rippick. Oh, EKU Rory. Thanks for the book recommendations, young Nick. Revan is now my favorite Jedi. Yeah, this motherfucker, like, he's been in my ear. He's getting on all these wait lists to get the free versions of the audiobooks. But he did confirm, as we, I think we put it out there as a fact, not speculation, that the audiobooks of the Revan series are like top tier. Just the performances, the production level, it's got it all. Smitty's loving him. He's becoming a more diehard Star Wars fan than even myself at this point in time. So, young Nick, you have started a new words and shit tradition with EKU Rory. So there you go. I'm glad that you're enjoying the recommendations, Rory. So hey, if you enjoy the stories of Revan, if you want to read something else or listen to something else, I would definitely recommend the Darth Bane trilogy. Yeah. It definitely, like, there's definitely a pretty big time jump between the Revan series and then the Bane series. But if you're enjoying that type of storytelling, I would definitely recommend that you go to the Bane series. Nick, is Revan a trilogy too? The books, do you know? So I think what he's referring to is technically the books that are around, or like that were written around the Star Wars, the Old Republic MMO novel, which there's a few of them. Brogu. We got a Brogu in here. I like that. Brogu. That's an awesome handle. Brogu. Welcome. Good name. But yeah, I think that if you enjoyed those books, you would enjoy the Bane series. The Bane series is top tier as well. There we go. We're getting from JRO. Star Wars Audio Archive on Spotify has them on Woodio. I don't even know what that is, but I'll take it. I don't know if there's more Revan books or not. I just know he's on a waiting list to get more. And like Nick said, there must be like a timeline series that these books fall in. So yeah, I think it's going to be around that Star Wars, the Old Republic timeline. Well, I mean, he's like, yeah, Malik and this and that, and this Emperor who doesn't die. I'm like, dude, you just play KOTOR. Yeah, you need to play KOTOR at this point. Now that you're this deep in the Revan lore, like that's where it all started. So yeah, it's on every fucking platform out there. Dude, it's on your phone. Right. It's on whatever. You can probably fucking pick up a Palm Pilot from 2000 and play. Yeah, I was like, just don't spend more than $4.99 if you find it. So yeah, wait for the next Steam sale to come around. Well worth it for EKU Rory to pick up KOTOR, right, everyone? 100%. Yes, got 100%. It. Okay. BC Scrubs, wasn't Andor meant to be 4 full seasons, once for each year, not 3 years crammed into S2? So, like I kind of teased that BC was going to ask this, and he's not wrong. Back when Andor was first ever a thing, they did plan to do a season per year, but then they also started to see zero returns and other issues with Disney streaming, and at that point, even before I believe season 1 was released to the public, it was decided we're only doing one more season and we're going to cover 4 more years in it. So yes, you are right, BC, but that was changed so many years back that to some ding dong like me that studies this shit like it's real life, this reveal this weekend was not a surprise at all. Yeah. So that's just, I mean, that came around in what, like 2 or 3 years ago. Was Andor 2020 like knee deep COVID? I think it was 20 or 21. Yeah, I would say I think it was 21 maybe. Andor season 1, 22. Nope, it was 22. Holy shit. 22. So 2 years ago. But yeah, going into that, and think about it. Like, they were making Andor during COVID. Probably had to stop it and this and that. It was. And that's kind of was the impetus for, you know what? Diego's like, I don't want this to be my life for the next 20 years. Tony's like, there's no way I'm doing Star Wars for this long. So if you guys want to keep me, and Diego, we're done after season 2 and we're going to do it this way. Bing, bang, boom. Yeah. And hey, like, you know, I trust that they have the ability to do it in the format that they're doing it in. So not too upset about that. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see how it goes. You know, I think that depending on the length of the episodes, if we're getting 40 to 45 minutes per episode, hey, you're talking
2 hours and 15 minutes of content to cover a 1 year span of time, I think that works out.
Yeah,
I think that works out.
Listen, like I said, I mean, you and we got Grogu on the team. We've been Andor, or I think I was an even bigger fan, but I know you.
Yeah, you were definitely like, I enjoyed Andor, but you were like,
that's right.
You were heavily like hardcore.
Yeah, I
Andor.
was really into Andor, but this is back in Nick's dark days. We'll call them the dark times. Who knows? Maybe season 2 he'll be ready to rock.
Well, we'll see. The only thing in Andor that really bothers me is that like,
Kino, he hates Kino Loy.
Everybody else loves.
Fucking hates him.
It's Kino Loy, and it's because
no way
they were like their chant the whole time is one way out. And do you not know what the one way out is?
I love this.
Like you've planned this whole thing to be like, okay, there's one way out and it's in the water. And then it's like he gets to the point to where it's like, okay, time to go. And then he realizes he can't swim. And like, what's your other option? You're just going to stay there? You can't tell Cassian like, hey, let's jump together. When I hit the water, grab me because I can't swim. Like, it's the dumb. Like, people were like, "Oh my god, it's so sad." I'm like, "That's the dumbest. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life."
He's tearing me down. He's become an internet Star Wars troll live on the show. He's calling me a little baby. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Because here's the thing. What better time to learn how to swim than when it is literally to save your own life?
We needed the character back for season 2. That was the best way to keep him there.
We needed the character back so they can turn him into Snoke, and then now we know why fucking Andy Serkis is Snoke and Kino Loy.
Correct.
But it was the dumbest thing in the world to me. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You knew you had to go in water.
I love it. You need to do kind of like I did many years ago, a dissertation video on this scene and how stupid it is, because mine was like why Revenge of the Sith is not the best prequel, it's the worst prequel. So you're kind of in the same camp where you are so anti what the popular opinion is, it could be good.
It like everything else about that episode was great. The way they took over the facility, everything. And then I'm like, are you fucking serious? Yeah. So like, what's your plan then, Kino Loy, to just sit in the fucking facility?
I know we're kind of on a tangent here. When you first watch it, Nick, and the drama and the suspense is building up and one way out, were you into it then? And then he hits the cliff and doesn't go, and that pissed you off, or did the whole thing piss you off?
No, like the whole episode, I was like, all right, like it's building, and then we get to the...
Once it was revealed that Kino never got swimming lessons, you were just like, fuck this.
I was like, are you... Like, it got to that point, and I was like, are you dumb? Like, is this literally your twist in this episode? Is that the dude who orchestrated the whole thing with Cassian can't swim, and he's just not going to jump? Even though you have hundreds of people jumping into this water... And you can literally just grab this motherfucker by the scrap, like by his shirt, and drag him along. Like that's it. It was so dumb.
Well, too bad Adrian doesn't listen here, because I think we have a new T-shirt idea for young Nick. Just Kino Loy with a big, like the no smoking sign on it, like the circle with the red diagonal. I love it.
It's like, bro, he could have. Like there's so many things that dude could have done to literally save his own life.
Well, maybe not jumping saved his life. You never know. Who knows? All right, good stuff there from BC. And here we go. Last one. Another one from Michael Kramer here. What were your guys' thoughts on leaked Mando and Grogi movie trailer? Well, you know what, Mike? We're going to save that because we'll be giving you our thoughts
here. We're talking to that very
in a little
soon.
bit. There you go. Divide Skywalker telling you, Nick, it was a sacrifice for the others. That's why he never tried to escape before, because he knew he wouldn't survive.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a sacrifice though, because the thing is like he's like coming up to the
watch out, Divided. He's coming for you.
Like he comes up to the escape point with everybody else, and then he like looks over and he's like, oh my gosh, there's water down there. I can't swim. And then he backs up like he's surprised. And I was like, wait, really? Like, real? Are you not gonna?
You're starting to sound like some of the acolyte people that didn't like some of the plot choices or underdeveloped characters, Nick.
I just thought it was funny that was the twist. Like the dude who orchestrates the whole thing acts surprised when he sees the water and is like, I can't swim, and nobody else that's jumping can help me.
Oh, good stuff. All right. Hey, thanks as always for Ask Us Anything. We now post those to Instagram, maybe our Discord if I remember, Twitter, and YouTube community. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right. So bringing up the old window, 2 little quick pop culture things before we get into our... I think I want to do Mando and Grogu before Skeleton Crew. But before all those, I've got some bad movie alert.
Uh-oh.
Bad movie alert. Bad movie alert. Borderlands. I don't know if anyone's read the news around this film's release or seen how hard it flopped.
Yeah, I've seen the stuff.
But, again, listen, I'm AMC Stubbs A-list. I get 3 free movies a week. I'm off this week, so I figure, hey, why not? Let's chew up some of the 3. So I caught Borderlands Monday, watched Trap yesterday, and I'm going to hit Alien Romulus tomorrow. So sounds like a good lineup on paper, but when you get there, Borderlands is like, listen, people, you know me. I mean, out of us two, I'm generally more accepting of crap and shit, especially if it's sci-fi or, video game based in this instance, video game and sci-fi. And hey, I love Borderlands. I mean, I remember playing the originals way back when. It was a fun little loot and shoot type of game. Did have this kind of loose canon around it. I don't really follow it, but going into the movie, seeing the cast, I mean, you got Kate fucking Blanchett, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kevin Hart, our little Ahsoka is in it. You're like, Jesus. Eli Roth, the director. Not sure why he got it, because horror's kind of his thing, but whatever. So I was like, all right. I go in, and I'm not kidding. Like, you're just sitting there going, like, holy shit. Like, what is this? Like, this is just, there's just nothing here. This is like the story you can guess within the first 10 minutes. Characters are just there. There's like no heart, no feel, no emotion. Nothing pays off. There are no moments. And this is the kind of the what I would want someone to put as a quote on our review. Borderlands somehow can make Kate Blanchett bad. Like, Kate Blanchett is a fucking gem. She is an acting gem. She is our Lady Galadriel, for Christ's sake. She comes off as bad in this movie. So that's how you know this thing was busted. It's failed so hard, Nick. I think it made like $8 million opening weekend.
Yeah, and it was like $100 million plus budget. I mean, here's the thing that I'll say is like, I didn't have much hope for this movie to start with, because the story, like, if you have played Borderlands, you know that the story is loose. It's basically like you're a vault hunter going to these vaults, get whatever's in the vaults. Like, it's a very loose story to try to adapt. And almost assuredly, whoever made this movie just didn't play the game.
Bro, 2K put it out.
Yeah,
I don't get it. 2K had direct involvement. 2K, Gearbox, everyone at the studios had direct involvement. Lilith is a main character. Tiny Teen is a main character from the game. I think Roland might be a character from the game. Atlas. I mean, it had everything. It's just not good. And to answer League's question, I think I already did. Blanchett is not it. I mean, she looks great with that orange hair, and she always looks great. But they made her look like a average actor, and that is a feat in and of itself.
Yeah, it's a video game that's like ultra fun to play. Like, it's just one of those loot shooters where you run around, you shoot shit. You literally don't pay attention to the story, because the story is absolutely useless in that game. But I mean, you could argue that like you can carry that lack of story with that cast, but like, no. I just didn't see it happening. And honestly, like, Eli Roth directing this was another reason where
that's
what
I said. I mean, he's
probably gonna suck.
He's like hostile cabin in the woods whore type of guy. You know what I mean? Like that's his thing. Like over the top trauma whore.
Like, I mean, honestly, too, though, like if you look at the movies that he directed, they all suck.
Got you.
Like if you look at, like, I'm looking at his IMDb, and in every movie that he's done is like either forgettable or trash. So I'm not 100% sure why they thought that this dude would be a really good person to take on this film, but I'm not
weird.
super surprised. I'm not super surprised.
I mean, Randy Pitchford, everyone, 2K, Gearbox, whoever directed this, the cast, it was an epic fail. And like I said, dude, I can watch fucking paint dry sometimes and be entertained. This was tough.
It almost feels like Pitchford knew it was going to be bad, because as soon as it tanked, he was on social media just cracking jokes about it. Like, all right. Like he was like, well, it looks like our game outperformed the movie. And like, he was literally like just making fun of what was happening the whole time.
Yeah, so maybe some weird shit went down between the studio and the game studio.
Yeah.
We had a question here from Michael Kramer. How was Jack Black as Claptrap his worst? Again, you don't even see Jack Black, but it doesn't even sound like Jack Black. And any bit they do with Claptrap it falls right on its face. There's really no redeeming qualities of this film. It's tough. I'm usually a softie on this type of vomit and can find something worth saying. Yeah, you might want to check this out. This is a 100%. Wait till you can watch it for free, even if you want to do that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this may kill Eli Roth's directing career, and it probably should. He
didn't really have a massive one going into this either, I don't think.
No, he didn't. Like he is, like, his directing career, like I said, is pretty forgettable.
Right.
Like it's
let's just say he's better off as the bear Jew in Inglourious Basterds.
I was gonna say, like, his acting resume is not bad. Like he's been in some like decent stuff, but like the stuff that's like that he's credited for his directing has been kind of weak. So
I always kind of have a soft spot for Eli because he was literally like a nobody intern on Howard Stern's Private Parts movie, and his job was to guard Howard's on-set apartment. So I've always heard about him and like how Howard saw him writing the script for his first movie as he was doing that. I always kind of like those type of stories. Plus my man Howard. Yeah. All right, next one here, people, and then we'll get into Star Wars. Don't worry. But also checked out Trap, the latest M. Night movie, and it's pretty good. All right, I mean, M. Night's gotten better over the years. You know, not every movie hits, not every twist is really
as good.
Hasn't quite had the same effect as Unbreakable and Sixth Sense, but he's still an accomplished dude. Puts out a good movie. Josh Hartnett is really good in this. It's a good thriller. It's also one of those movies where you kind of feel weird because you're mostly cheering for a bad guy the entire time, and you know you are, but you can't help yourself. Like, is he going to get out or not? Like the whole premise is a serial killer essentially gets set up at a concert for like a teeny bop superstar, and he brings his daughter. Everyone there is in on it essentially, except for most of the audience and the serial killer. But it's fun. It's good. That one is worth seeing. I don't know if it's a movie theater worth seeing. I would say yes, just so we keep cinema alive. But it's a worthwhile M. Night film, even with a lot of nepotism and cameos by M. Night himself. Like,
he's in it.
Oh, his daughter's one of the main characters towards the end. And now, listen, she does damn well, and she looks pretty nice too. So I can't complain about that.
Is that the one who directed?
Baby.
Is that the director one? Because she put out her first movie recently. One of his daughters.
No idea. I won't. I can't really comment on that. I just know that she was pretty good as like this. She played the famous singer Lady Raven or something. So. But there you go. Trap, been out for like a week. Worth checking out. And then this week, so you'll hear it next week, I'm going to go see Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
That should be interesting.
Star Wars time. It's always time for
anyone seen that Deathpool? I think Matt talked about Deadpool on the last episode. I have not seen it yet.
Oh yeah, Deadpool Wolverine. I've seen it twice. It's awesome. It's made $1 billion. So it's. Yeah. I just saw a graphic today. It's either one of 6 or one of 8 movies since the pandemic that's made $1 billion. Mm-hmm. So kudos to them. Yeah, another one from this year, Inside Out 2. Kudos to that motherfucker too.
2 Disney movies.
All right
there.
Amen.
There you go.
All right. So, we're here. We're going to talk some D23, break down what we saw. I know JRO was like, hey, can we see the trailers? No. There's a good chance we may even get trouble for showing screenshots of shitty trailers that people record on their phones, but oh well, I did it. Like I said, if you're in the Star Wars Time Show Discord, we got an open link, I believe, in the YouTube description here or in our Instagram. I think the Andor is still up and working, and then someone in the chat, I'm not going to name any names, but they recorded the Mando Grogu one on their phone, so that should always be persistent. And they're not necessarily trailers. They were kind of quick hits. I mean, hell, the Mando Grogu was more of a trailer than Andor. Andor was your typical sizzle reel like B-roll mix. Yeah. All right. So speaking of Mando and Grogu, we'll get right down to it. And kind of going back to Kramer's question, I loved what I saw about Mando and Grogu, even though it was kind of quick hits. Not really sure what's happening, but I think I can speculate my way through some of these screens. But really, I think what it comes down to, they're taking it back to the series roots. It's going to be Din and Grogu again. It doesn't look like we're going to be too much focus on all the Mandalore shit in this movie. It looks like they're moving right into their role with the New Republic as like a New Republic special bounty hunter. So I think it looks kind of like what we're used to, Mando S1, S2. So I think that's a good thing. I love seeing where we went, the snow planet. Is it Hoth? Is it Ilum? I've got ideas on that if you think about the timeline we're in and what Ilum gets turned into.
Yep.
Snowtroopers, mouse droid point of views, probably the coolest thing I saw. I don't know if anyone else that saw it picked that up, but they film, it looks like almost a one-shot fight scene in a corridor, but our point of view, what we're going to see is coming from a mouse droid's camera. So that's kind of a cool little tactic. But that's my take. Nick, how did you feel? And then we'll kind of break down some of the specific screens we got.
Yeah, no, I mean, it seems like it's going to be real. I mean, like, obviously it's super hard to tell because they're going to give you all of the action moments and stuff like that, and like a sizzle like this, but the action looks good. They perfectly pulled off the snowtrooper armors. Like you said, definitely giving some like Hoth Ilum vibes. I'm interested for sure. The only thing that I guess, I was like a little bit like, I was like, oh, okay, like, they're like heavily leaning on nostalgia, right? Like there's a lot of nostalgic presence, at least within this little trailer, sizzle reel, whatever you want to call it.
So I mean, like, S1, S2, buddy, they're going right back to the bank. Like, hey, people didn't like season 3 when we kind of gave Bo the lead. It's course correct.
Yeah, so they're definitely pulling things back towards the more comfortable area a little bit. But I'm interested, and right now I am very interested to see if this movie's going to jump around a lot, because almost everything that we saw seems like it takes place on or near Ilum or Hoth or whatever this snow planet is, right?
Yeah.
So is it going to be like a single mission? Like, hey, we need to, like, we know that something is going on the planet Ilum. We need you to go there and find out what's happening and report back and blah, 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 or something like that.
That's a good point, Nick, because a lot of us, we are conditioned to Mandalorian being 8 episodes. So we're going to get anywhere from, 6 to 7 hours, 5 to 7 hours of content, allowing the team, the creatives, to really kind of flesh shit out. So as Nick's saying, now in a movie, which these assholes at Star Wars are probably going to make it an hour and a half long or some dumb shit like that, or right at 2 hours or under. Yeah, is the snow mission, is that like the big ending mission? Is it the beginning mission to kind of reintroduce us? Is it something in the middle? What are we doing with Zeb? Is he kind of like their liaison now instead of what's his name? Carson Teva. There you go. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's go ahead and peel through some of the screens I grabbed here. I got most of the flashes because that's really all it was. I do have some thoughts on some of these, and we'll see what young Nick says here. So, first off, as Nick said, snowtroopers galore, all right? Mm-hmm. And like Nick was saying, I don't know if that means most of the movies taking place on snow planets or not, but we see Din rolling in, jetpack on, blasting snowtroopers. Clearly in a snowy base, you can see snow on the floor, whatnot. So I guess as we're talking about ice planets, what's your feel here? Are you thinking it's going to be Hoth and kind of how they took over the Rebel base, or is this the beginning of Ilum's transformation into Starkiller base?
Yeah, I mean, my initial thought when I first looked at it, like looking at the landscape, even looking at like the interior shots of the base that, whatever base that they're going to be on, it really gave me like immediate Hoth vibes. And I think that like the addition of the AT-ATs probably pushed me more in that direction, because it's such like, AT-ATs coming from the fog into view on Hoth is such like an iconic scene that Star Wars fans will never forget.
Right.
So like as soon as I see like mountainous region, snow, AT-ATs, I'm like, okay, we're on Hoth, baby. We're back. Like,
B-Mad's back too. Look at that. Perfect. You thought I'd miss another one? I'm back, baby. We love you, B-Mad. Welcome. Guess what? We missed last week too, so you didn't miss much.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like that was my initial feeling, was like, are we coming back to Hoth, potentially, like you said, retaking Hoth base and setting that up as like another hub in the galaxy for rebel forces, or I guess you would say New Republic forces now to congregate and have that as like a new central area. But it does, like you were saying, like it does make more sense if you think about like moving into the sequel trilogy, that it may be Ilum over Hoth because of what Ilum turns into, aka Starkiller base.
Right. And that's kind of where I'm at. But as you said, and we know this as a fact from all 3 seasons, Favreau and Filoni have a penchant for nostalgia, Easter eggs, tip in the hat. So it very well could be Hoth. It just, to me, it would make more sense. Let's start moving these sequel trilogy storylines kind of into view here. We already have the Shadow Council. We already know that Hux's dad's on it, and we got the Project Necromancer stuff going on. So you would think it took them a while to hollow out Ilum. So why not set up shop now and start kind of excavating the core of that motherfucker?
Yeah, just get it started.
All right. What was that? Oh, we got a question from Johnny that I would like Nick to answer here. Do you think they go from movie back to D+, Nick? Or now that
you mean for Mando?
Now that they want movie, that ship has sailed. That's kind of where I'm at.
Oh, I think Mando is the Mando series is over after this movie. Yeah. Straight up.
Well,
like I don't think it's going back anywhere.
The characters know, because they're going to be folded into the Mando. Yeah, remember this is a new project. Filoni still has whatever you want to call it, Heir to the Empire,
other stuff going on,
his crossover movie. So, but yeah, I'm with Nick. I sadly, this is Mandalorian season 4, and this is it.
Yeah, no, like in terms of the Mandalorian property itself, this is the send off, right? This is the okay, bye bye. And then we are going to be going back to Ahsoka season 2 on Disney Plus, and then we assume that after Ahsoka season 2 on Disney Plus will be the another theatrical release with the whatever film is going to, like whatever the name of that film is going to be. That is going to essentially be the battle between
closing out the
Republic
era
forces and Thrawn's forces.
Which is hey, listen, I mean, we talked about this before. I'm selfish. I would have preferred this to stay a TV series, but clearly Disney, as most other entertainment companies, they're all fucked. They all, shot their wad on streaming apps, their own, and they're realizing like, wow, that probably wasn't a good business choice here.
The thing that happened is like everybody in the industry, like all of these like big studios overcorrected because of COVID, right? Mm-hmm. Like streaming revenue went through the roof during COVID because everybody was at home. Nobody was in theaters.
Was way over the revenue.
Yeah, exactly. So people were like, oh, like studios were like, oh, well, this is the way of the future, streaming, blah, blah, blah. Like that's going to be the way that we do it. But they also didn't realize that like ad revenue is a must for a streaming service. Mm-hmm. And most of these streaming services launched without ad supported tiers.
Right.
So now they're like, oh, wait. We have to have, if we're going to do all streaming, we have to have ads because that helps us support the service. And they realize that like, wait, trickle in money over time is nice, but if we can make $1 billion on a theatrical release like we just did with Deadpool and Wolverine, that's going to sustain us longer.
Got you. So I'm with Nick. I think this is it for Mando, Grogu in terms of TV. Could we see him pop up in other series in that timeline? Sure.
Yeah, I'm positive that they'll be in whatever the crossover movie is.
The closeout movie for sure. Ahsoka S2 if they make it back to the known galaxy in time. Good chance, but yeah, this is probably it for them. The choice to go big screen, you're pretty much fucked. Mm-hmm. All right, next one here, and this was another one, and I don't know how Nick feels about this. I know why they're doing it. As cool as the N1 was, looked, sounded, it was not a functional ship for a bounty hunter. Okay. Yeah. Where are you going to put your bounties? This, that, and the other thing. So the Razor Crest is coming back. My question to you, Nick, on the next slide, is it Zeb's Razor Crest? Is he their new pilot? Is he the one that picked it up for him? Is Din going to trade the N1 for a Razor? Or is getting a Razor Crest maybe the opening of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he kind of settled into the N1, like you said, like that had kind of become like their little... It was like the dad. It was like the dad and son's. Yeah, like the sedan. It was the 4-door. It happened in the back seat. And the thing is like, I mean, it's clearly not his because his was blown to smithereens. There's no way you could rebuild it. And
clearly they all share the same paint job. So that Mando didn't put those yellow things on himself. That's just the Razor Crest model. And everyone got to remember, this thing really is called the Razor Crest. He didn't name it Razor Crest. Like the model is Razor Crest.
Yeah, it's the Razor Crest. So in the way that I see, like you said, the next slide with the reveal of Zeb and he's sitting in the cockpit, almost looks like he's kind of annoyed that they're in there.
Yeah, he's like carting them around, like he's their limo driver.
Yeah, he's like, hey, look, I get that we're on the same side here, but can y'all just leave me and my ship to our own devices? Like, so I almost do think it's like Zeb's ship, and then like Din is like, hey man, I used to have one of these too, real big fan, and he's almost like he's like working out a swap, like, hey, I'll give, like you said, I'll give you this one over here.
I really don't. I don't envision Zeb as being their go-to with the New Republic. That's Teva. I mean, that's how season 3 ended. He literally walks into the bar and says, hey, man, I need to start, got the kid. We're going to start going on some missions. Kind of want to help out. So, like you said, Zeb seems slightly annoyed. Maybe he was tasked by Teva to like, hey, take these guys or, go find a Razor Crest, trade your Razor Crest, something like that. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so it doesn't look like it's theirs for sure.
Yeah, but hey, are you upset that it's back? I mean,
no. I'm not upset. I mean, and Props brings up a good point too. Whoever bought that HasLab Razor Crest is like, yes, coming back. I can sell it.
You can see it. I got it right where I'm pointing behind me. Mine's up there. It's one of my favorite display pieces. It really is a fucking awesome looking 3.75 inch scale toy. And the Ghost is going to look just as good. I just don't know where I'm going to put it. I'm thinking about mounting it to the ceiling, Nick, so it just hovers behind me in frame. There? Yes. Because I'm short, so it's not going to hit my head. It'll hit anyone else's head that comes in my house, but it's not going to hit me. Yeah. All right, good stuff there. So we excited Zeb's at least getting some screen time, considering they're like, we don't need Zeb in an Ahsoka series. That would be stupid.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad that Zeb's back because it does kind of feel like he was the one left out. I don't
understand it. Like everyone from Star Wars Rebels, even Kanan via a picture, was covered in Ahsoka except our dude right here.
Yeah,
it's like, so hello.
I hope that he's in it for more than just like a scene for a handoff or something like that. I hope that he has a bit of a meteor role. Yeah, like what if this is a mission that Teva sends them all on together? He's not just dropping them off. Like they are on this mission. Maybe it's a task. Like, hey, you want to work with us? We got to send one of our guys with you. We don't necessarily trust you yet, even though you've done a lot of good for the New Republic without even meaning to. Yeah, I think it would be good. And it what would be even better about the Razor Crest part of it if it is just like, hey, here's Zeb. You're gonna work with Zeb. Y'all have a mission to go on, and then like they don't know he's got a Razor Crest, and they just walk out and they're like, oh man, he's got a Razor Crest.
That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Like Din just is like, you almost see the heart bubbles coming out of his head.
Yeah.
And he starts swooning. Grogu points at it like, oh. No, Grogu pulls his gear shifter knob out and he's like waving it at it. I love it.
Yeah, that would be good. So Johnny's got a question here. He says, besides a dedication and memory to Carl at the end of the movie, do you think they will do a mention?
Oh, yeah.
Like Cara or leave it alone?
I honestly, I mean, we talked about this a couple weeks back when we learned that they had to film time-sensitive scenes. We were like, hey, what if this is like a Karga funeral? And they had to bring Pedro in so he could pop his helmet off real quick. So, Johnny, I think 100% it's mentioned. It has to be. He was such a big player on Navarro. We know they're going back to Navarro because they live on Navarro. So... yeah, I think Carl gets an in-universe mention to his character in the passing. There will be it's going to be more than what Shithead got to. It's not going to be, oh yeah, she's out doing something. It'll be a dedicated moment, if not an entire scene, kind of highlighting the fact that grief has passed.
Yeah, dude, I think that they could use this opportunity to really, like, if they opened this movie with the funeral of Grief Karga as like a galvanization point for the New Republic, like, hey, this is what we're fighting for, everybody. Like, this is, like if he went down in like a heroic fashion, if they write that into that show and turn that into like a rallying cry for the troops, like, hey, this is a guy who was on our side, fought for us, fought against, pushed out the Imperial presence on Navarro and has been a beacon of hope in this section of the galaxy, and really used that as like the rallying cry for the New Republic forces in that area. I think that would be a strong way to start the movie. Oh, yeah,
that's right. That's right. Because they had to take the IG-11 statue down to build IG-12.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they just slapped Grief up on the statue mantle they already had in the middle of town. I think it's going to be more than that. Like I see a dedicated scene here, not just an offhanded comment like for our friend Cara Dune, the rebel shock trooper.
Yeah,
that's right. For Karga over here, we call him Cardboard.
Grief Cardboard.
That's right. I wish Grief Cardboard would come back. He's one of my favorite handles, but I haven't seen the Cardboard in a while. All right, next slide here, Nick. I mean, here we go, snowtroopers. But my question to you, is this the inside of an AT-AT? I think it is.
I think it is. If you look at those panels on the side, like the side panels look so similar to what you've seen or what we've seen from AT-ATs.
And notice
so, like,
how,
I almost...
Like, what are they called? What do we use? Our big ships that transport our troops on those shitty little benches for like 20-hour rides. But if you look, like, they're kind of strapped in the seats that imply they're on a vehicle of some sort. Yeah,
like any sort of like troop transport vehicle. So yeah, it definitely gives
super
that vibe.
Cool. Like being listen, for me, Return of the Jedi, my favorite film. Totally respect Empire. But as a kid, I've said this before, I'll say it again because we got some noobs here. The reason I think I didn't love Empire is because it was sad to me. Mm-hmm. I didn't like it as a little kid. I was like, okay, but I always looked forward to the opening moment, the Battle of Hoth. It's one of the greatest battles in all of Star Wars, and it's because of those fucking AT-ATs. And yes, I call them AT-ATs. That's what you call them. You AT-AT people, get the hell out of here.
Oh wait, there's like a debate now.
Listen, I got chewed apart in one of our clips we shared when I talked about AT-ATs, and like, oh, well, this idiot calls them AT-ATs. Like, what do you call them? AT-AT? Who does that? If AT-AT would be A-T-A-T. That's AT-AT. AT-AT is AT-AT. Right? Am I crazy?
Yeah, I've always said AT-AT.
Of course, because that's what they're called.
Like, I mean, but then the chicken, like, I also called the chicken walkers and never called them ATSTs. So, like, I don't know. Like, but I know that there are differences between chicken walkers and ATSTs. Yes, I know.
Hell, there's an ATRT in this trailer, Nick.
Yeah. And then technically, what you see in Rogue One is not an AT-AT or an AT-AT or either of them. It's like a different acronym.
Well, yeah, it's got the orange door on it.
Yeah, it's got the...
Oh, McNugget, you son of a bitch! McNugget's in the AT&T camp. Get out of here.
So Johnny's an AT-AT.
All right.
McNugget's an AT-AT.
I'm telling you, it's the generation thing,
it's
man.
Split.
Yep.
It is. It's like, what are you? It's like, are you OT? Are you?
Yeah, if you're OT, pretty sure you're calling it AT-AT. If you're anything else, you're this AT-AT type.
You're AT-AT.
Which I just don't get, because there's no hyphens in between the A and the T. So yeah, you're with me that this is the inside of an AT-AT.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see they're like, oh shit. So I'm wondering if the scene at the end where they kind of approach Din and Grogu on their little AT-RT, if they eventually Luke Skywalker up into the belly, and we're going to get to see a fight with inside.
Dude, that would be sick. That would be awesome if they pulled that off. I think that would be super cool.
These guys are arming up for something, so they're either going to drop out the hatch and start fighting on the ground, or someone has infiltrated the AT-AT.
Yeah. So I'm super hyped to see what happens.
One other thing, Nick, are those... They almost look like Darth Maul's Sith droid, but clearly they're not. But are those like little probies floating above them too, towards the back?
It's hard. It's like super hard to tell.
Like the footage was so grainy. I mean, literally, it's like someone.
Yeah,
we have a recording of a recording. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like it's a phone camera recording something else. Yeah, it's like super grainy. I mean, here's the thing. IPDs. I don't think we've seen one IPD in Mandoverse, right?
Yeah,
only one.
Well, that was from Kenobi stuff. Yeah, I'm getting my streams crossed here.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember. Is like I don't know if we've ever seen like a real IPD.
Oh, you know what? There might have been one in season 3 when Gideon used it to project to the traitor girl. I think. Yeah. All right.
So I'm not sure, but like it's super hard to tell. I can't even.
They're really flying murder bots of some sort for sure.
Yeah, something that's gonna follow them around, maybe a spotter.
So we're going with Mando and Grogu. They're getting into an AT-AT, and they're gonna start a little fight. Hopefully they commandeer it, because I know we got a few like point of view shots from General Veers's AT-AT and Empire, but I would love like an extended sequence of watching Din or Grogu drive this thing and just
oh my god, dude! I would love it if like Grogu's the one at the controls while Din's in the back, like fighting everybody. And Grogu's just tossing this thing all around.
Yeah, just turn the head left and right, like Man, I love those things. I'm about ready to just fire up the scene from Empire and watch. I love. One of my favorite vehicles, and the one vehicle that eluded me as a child. Like, that was the grail to me. Getting the old school Kenner AT-AT. Never happened in House Haywood here. Okay, next one here. This is clearly a base. I think it's the same base we saw in the first screenshot, but on this snow planet. So it seems, Nick, that they're going to this snow planet. I believe they're going to infiltrate the base. Shit goes crazy. Mando jumps on his AT-RT with Grogu. They make that run down the hill. They run into the AT-ATs, and there we go. They're getting into those too. But you can see here, and this is the different dynamic we're going to get in Mando Grogu versus S1 through S3. Grogu is going to be treated as a fully functional companion now. Remember, he is an apprentice. Din is not going to baby him. Din is not there to protect him. Yeah, sure, in the overall global sense, protect. But Grogu is going to have a lot more free reign to do shit on missions. And I think this shot right here is an example of that, where Din's probably down below and Grogu's in the shafts trying to, get something done.
Yeah, he's gonna have and I'm super happy about that. Like, I was always like, if you go back and watch episodes of the show, especially during Mando S3, I was super on the side of like, Grogu needs to progress. Like, he needs his own agency. He needs to be an autonomous character. He did with his suit, like with the IG-12 suit. He got that a little bit. He was able to speak to a certain degree. So I'm really happy that they are kind of giving him agency as a character and allowing him to do things on his own and show that character progression. My question to you, Matt, is, do we get a word from Grogu's mouth before this movie ends?
Oh,
Does
yes.
he speak a word?
Yes. But sadly, I think it's going to be like the big hit moment towards the climax.
Yeah, I think it's going to be towards the end too.
He will. Now, here's my follow up to you. Will it be in a moment of celebration and joy, or will it be a moment of terror and distress?
Yeah, where he like yells like "Dad,"
because you know it's gonna be one or the other, right? It's not they're not just gonna be sitting around the pond like, "Hey, Dad, look at this frog I just caught with the Force."
I think I would want it to be in a moment of distress, right? Where it's like they're either like they're on different sides or like they're fighting in different areas, and like Grogu's got a comm device or something like that, or he just like, or maybe here's the thought: maybe he reaches out to Din with the Force. He reaches out and Din hears this voice in his head that he's never heard before in the Force, and he's like, Din! What is this? And then it's Grogu reaching out. It's Grogu's voice in the Force reaching out to him. Then I think it will be Dad.
I must.
Macaroons, Dad. Yeah, but I do think it'll be Dad. I think it'll be Dad.
Okay.
If it's a moment of like suspense and danger, it'll be Dad.
There you go. I like JRO. He's gonna do the Vader no.
He's gonna do no.
No.
He might. Yeah.
I like that one.
He sees Din getting shot like he always does, just boom, 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 and then he runs in with the Vader no, and then he comes to his rescue. Oh man, are we gonna get to see Grogu puke on the big screen? Almost assuredly, right?
Yeah, you know he's gonna overeat something.
It's gotta be.
You know he's gonna overeat.
He'll be voiced by Filoni. I hope so. I hope Filoni.
Who's done the coup so far?
I don't know, right? Like, I think they bring in like some weird, like, I don't know if it's a voice actor or maybe it is just like John or Dave doing like voice modulation for it.
But yeah, I
probably
think
like
voice for sure. Voice is coming of some sort. J.J. Abrams, nice.
Yeah.
It's just more like this was the POV, I think, of the mouse droid, which I think is going to be neat. But like we said, I think this ice planet mission, Hoth or Ilum, starts out on the ground, infiltrate the base. Din and Grogu doing their thing. Shit gets a little hairy. They need to escape. That's where they get on this, the AT-RT from Clone Wars era. Remember seeing our Clone Boys roll around on these. Mm-hmm. And I had to verify first. I'm like, who the hell is that? It is Din. I mean, there's the jetpack. And then, of course, there's Grogu strapped to his tummy in the front part of the AT-RT. But I love that shot. Like, they're just skipping down a mountainside, and then they land and skid because you see two AT-ATs, and they're just like, poo-poo, and just blast right at it. But I do think, Nick, that they are getting on board one of those two that confronted them.
Yeah, 100%. One quick question to backtrack to the mouse droid. Do you think they somehow like hack into a mouse droid and use that to like scout out the base, and that's why we're seeing things from that perspective?
Yeah, that could be what Grogu's doing.
Yeah, like I don't know how they would do it, but
I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it. He's probably got like, that'd be great if he has like a little RC control in his hand. He's like, having a good time.
Somebody like Zeb gives him something. He's like, look, I hacked into this mouse droid. You can use this to control it and like scout the base out.
That would be
guys
cool.
Get in.
Either way, I think it's going to be neat. It's going to be the first time that we actually get a POV mouse droid. So I'm all about it. I think it's going to be interesting. And then it ends on an interesting shot. We don't really know what it means. It probably is a whole different mission, but Grogu is rocking with some Anzalans in an Anzalan ship, because look how tiny it is. I mean,
look how small it is.
Grogu barely fits in this thing.
Yeah. Babu Frick and Baba Frick over here.
I guess the one kind of does look like Babu, or these.
The one on the right looks like Babu.
I mean, they all fucking look the same. So who knows?
Yeah. I mean, the one on the left doesn't have facial hair, at least from what I can see at that angle. But it doesn't seem like he has facial hair.
We also don't know like how long they live, because you remember we met Babu in the sequel trilogy, which is still 30 years beyond what we're going to see in Mando Grogu.
That is true.
But we know they have a shop on Navarro. We know Grogu and Mando live on Navarro. There could be a case where Grogu needs the Anzellans to like get him off planet to go help Dad.
Yeah, it could be. It could be if they get separated or something like that. Like that would be an interesting like turnabout for sure.
You know,
I mean, I guess like you know what? Like we're talking about snow planets. Like we saw Babu Frick on Kijimi, and Kijimi is like a snow planet, isn't it?
Yes. Yep.
But I don't know. I mean, like it didn't seem like it was a snow planet like Hoth, where it was, or Ilum, where it was like kind of uninhabited. Like, or the one area of Kijimi we saw was snow, but it was like a
I mean there was
planet.
Towns and cities where I don't think there was any of that shit on Hoth or Ilum. So
yeah, I agree.
But I mean,
that just popped in my head.
They set this up in season 3 that Grogu and the Anzellans were going to kind of have a thing. You know, I mean, he was like hugging them and wanting to squeeze them to death, like any kid would with a tiny animal. So I know some people could accuse this of being way too much fan service, cutesy, schmootsy bullshit, but I think this is going to be a fun moment for me, and that's all I care about. So thank you.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. And hey, look, I mean, regardless of what you think about the sequel trilogy, and you know what's funny? Like, I don't know if you've noticed this. I don't know if this is just on Threads, because I use Threads every now and then as like my like written social media check-in spot.
Got you.
But there's already been like there's already starting to be a turn in the sentiment towards the sequel trilogy.
Well,
like,
it's probably because the Acolyte, they're all banding against. They're like, fuck,
yeah, now they
the
have something else
Acolyte's
to hate.
ruining the sequel trilogy. That's how bad it is.
That's the thing is like the Star Wars fandom can only hate one thing at a time. The Star Wars, the whatever they call themselves, they can only hate one thing at a time because that's all that their brain can concentrate on is one thing. So they're like, well, we can't hate the sequel trilogy anymore because it's too hard to hate two things at once. So now we hate this, and the sequel trilogy is fine. But I've been seeing it around the internet where people are like, you know what? Like, I really liked this. I really like this movie in the sequel trilogy, or Tross wasn't as bad as as people say it, as stuff like that. So I don't know. But they have my point was, regardless of what your thoughts are on that trilogy, you have to move towards it. Like you have to, like your storytelling after ROTJ into the Mandoverse and stuff has to move towards that, because that's where it goes. Regardless of what your thoughts are, everything leads to the sequel trilogy to a certain point. So I am glad that they're starting to like incorporate some alien races like the Anzellans and other stuff that, starts to move towards that.
Yeah, so. the old sequel trilogy. So much promise, so much letdown. It's kind of like the mantra of Star Wars if you think about it.
I mean, honestly, post OT, that's just how
dude.
it's been,
I was gonna
right?
say like
just,
pretty much anything since '83. So much promise, but letdown here.
But dude, if you talk to people who were like there in in 80 going, or like from 77 going into 80, and then 80 going into 83, all of the people would be like, "Oh, this was trash.
Ewoks.
This was." Ewoks, they ruined Star Wars.
It really had. I mean,
like,
Star Wars fans have hated Star Wars since 1977, so it doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter.
Like,
it doesn't matter.
All right, so there you go. I think that was our last bit on Mando Grogu. So we're going to do a quick slide over to Andor. Andor, we didn't get an actual trailer.
Not a lot.
We got some sizzle reel stuff, a few cool looking scenes, a few words said. I think I wrote down some stuff just to make sure I didn't miss it here. We got all the Mando stuff. Yeah, got all that. All right. So the first one here is just a cool shot of the rebellion. And if you listen to the sizzle reel, you hear Tony talking like the rebellion in season 2 is out in the open. It's expanding so much so they're going to be on Yavin, by the end of Andor season 2. In fact, we already saw a bunch of shots from this sizzle reel here. So it looks like Luthen and all of his work is going to be in full force in season 2. Just right in big cities, blowing shit up, going after troopers, going after the Empire. The rebellion is enmassing in full here.
Yeah, in full force. And that goes back to one of the questions that was asked in the beginning of the show. Will we see the Death Troopers? I think that is going to be the impetus for it, right? Like, once or they're already around, but like that's when they're going to be like out in force and like visible to the public and stuff like that.
Because we know a character's returning, and that was his personal guard.
Krennic.
So
yeah, exactly.
If we don't get him anywhere, we're going to get him with Director Krennic. So he's not that should surprise anyone. We told you a few weeks back, many weeks back, that I forget who it was. I think it was it Skarsgård? Yeah, he's like, yeah, hey, it was great working with Ben and with Forrest again. He's laying down all the names. Like, okay. All right.
Forrest has to be super happy, right? Because like Forrest Whitaker was always like a movie first actor and stuff like that. So him being able to come back as Saw after Rogue One, like I'm excited.
Well, that's another character, not directly like Darth Maul, but similar to where they've had a run in the expanded, I hate calling it the expanded universe, but in animation and now the Andor prequel to Rogue One, that the actors probably had no clue that was going to happen. So yeah, I think he's like, sweet, dude. I can cash this cow for the rest of my life. Saw Gerrera is now hugely ingrained into that era of Star Wars. He's huge. He started in Clone Wars. He makes it in the Bad Batch. He makes it into Rebels. He makes it into Andor and finishes in Rogue One. We're talking decades worth of character development now. So good for Forrest and his slightly off eye. This next definitely. Shot here, just wanted to show it because we see the U-Wing. So
yeah, I was going to say back of the U-Wing.
Now, Nick, do you think he just has it when we pick up season 2, or does the U-Wing, it's like something he earns or gets during the first 3 episodes?
Maybe, yeah. I would imagine that like they're like, okay, you're a member of the rebellion now. You need a way to get around. Here's this ship. This is going to be what you use. Like, it's probably going to be given to him by the Republic, I would imagine, or the rebellion. Fuck, getting them all mixed up.
Yeah, because I think that it is a rebellion ship. So you'd think that they just hand one over to him.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that they're like, here, you're a rebel spy now. Go, here's your ship. Go do spy stuff.
All right, sorry, I'm getting texts from people here. Okay, next screen we had, there he is right there. We talked about him. He is starting to form into the goofy, crazy, loony Saul that gets kicked out of the Rebel Alliance. Before we see him in Rogue One, we know he's disenfranchised, kicked out, considered a terrorist, even in Rebels, right? I think Mon Mothma kind of calls him out.
Yeah.
But there he is. He's starting to grow the fro now. I think he's got the beard going on there.
Yep, got a little beard.
Now,
when we see two tubes
is
right
always with Saul. Even in Andor season 1, in Andor season 1 when we got to see them together, they're always together. But it doesn't look. I can't tell if he has his breathing mask or fake leg yet. It's almost like he's kind of been earning those. He's always had his green armor, but it doesn't quite look like he is disabled yet. Maybe do we see the disabling of Saw Gerrera in Andor season 2, young Nick?
Did we see the disabling? Maybe. I think so. I think we're going to see some damage. I think we're going to see some damage to him, and that's going to set us up for Rogue One Saw, and that'll probably be in. If I had to guess, it'll either be at the end of the second arc or the beginning of the third arc somewhere, because it's 9 episodes, right? Or is it 12?
12.
12. So I'll adjust that. Either the end of the third arc or the beginning of the fourth arc, because I feel like it's not going to happen up front, and it'll probably be like what I would like to see is like him becoming disenfranchised over that 12 episode span with the rebellion, right? Where he's there and he's pushing, he's trying to get people to see things his way.
Oh, he's going to be very antagonistic with the rebels.
Yeah, and then at the end of it, they're like, you know what, dude? Like you're gone. Like you can do whatever you want, but we're not supporting you anymore. Like we cannot support what you're doing.
Yeah, I kind of like what I'm writing in my head. And I do think Saul deserves his destruction portrayed in Andor. I think it's he ends up so busted by Rogue One, it's worth showing how that happened.
Yeah, for sure.
He's got a fake leg. I'll
will be right
vamp.
back.
He's got a fake leg. He needs a breathing mask. And is one of his arms robotic too? Anyone in the chat while Nick's taking a poop? Either way, I think it'd be fun to see Saul kind of become the Saul we see by Rogue One, at least the damaged version of Saul, the Borgali, that guy. A little loopy, but, still trying to do the right thing. All right, next screen here, and I just grabbed this because it's everyone's favorite cereal, and that is our boy Cereal Karn here. And I wish Nick was here because I want to ask him a question. So maybe you people, if you're listening there in the stream, we love you streamers. Don't forget, if you want to join the SWTS lives every Wednesday, 5 p. East, or as close as we can get, usually never on the dot, youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. But I want to get a few shots of Cereal here. I know he was kind of a weenie in season 1, but he was fun to watch. I enjoyed watching him go home and be sad with his mom and then try to make a move on Deidre. But it looks like he never gets re-involved with the Empire in any official capacity. I mean, he's wearing, he's got like pimp clothes on, right? I mean, he's got like a nice jacket. He's got a shirt and tie. I mean, it looks like he's become a citizen. I wonder if he's even working the same desk job anymore, but I'm glad to see him back. He's going to do something. He's still got an axe to grind against Andor and most people on Ferrix because he blames them for ruining his life or changing his life course. So good to see good old Cereal. And I wonder if he'll be eating cereal in Andor Season 2. Next one here, just to show you. Sorry, Nick, not your back. Real quick.
Okay.
I grabbed one of the shots of Cereal because everyone loves him, right? He's like everyone's favorite whiny, slightly creepy wannabe Imperial.
Mama's boy.
Yeah. What you notice he's got like a nice jacket on, a shirt and tie.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like he was trying to make a move on Dedra to maybe get back or get into the Empire. It doesn't look like that panned out, huh?
No, it doesn't. So I don't know. I mean, like he's clearly, from what we've seen of Cyril, like he clearly is like trying to ingratiate himself, but being rebuffed at every point, kind of like you said. So I think at this point he's just like losing it, right?
Yeah.
Like he's seeing both the simultaneous like increase in size of the Empire and seeing opportunity for himself there, but also seeing like the rebel activity rise up, and he's like, I can help. And he probably just like, I assume by the end of the show, this dude is like completely mentally broken and is probably like trying to sabotage like the rebellion on his own, like run solo missions or like do something like that.
Yeah, because you are right. I mean, one of the big themes of this sizzle reel is that this is not season 1 where the rebels are hiding and only doing little missions here or there to build up their wealth. This is going to be full on terrorism. Okay, in the streets, blowing shit up, TIE fighters flying over, trying to disperse crowds and find the rebel terrorists. So it's gonna be. I'm glad Cyril's back. I think he's going to be an interesting point of view character. You just don't know where he's going to take you. But Nick's right. Yeah. He's always going to be serving himself. It's just which way is he going to go? Real quick, I want to kind of work this one out with you, Nick. B-Mad asking, does season 2 of Andor take place during Rebels season 1, 2, or 3? I think it's probably during 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Well, no. He's right. No. Yes.
Not. Yeah. 4 is way too far in.
No.
4 is.
I don't think
4
so.
4 is. Well, okay. Hold on. I'm trying to remember now because all right. 4 is the season where Maul dies. Yeah,
and he sends Thrawn to Peridia. So
and Thrawn's
they all are taking place during Andor S2.
Yeah.
Except for maybe season 1, because I think that was 6 years before BBY Rebels. I can't remember.
Because it was Ezra's 13th birthday, right?
I forget. I think you might be
Empire
right.
Day episode 1. I think it was his 13th birthday, so it was 6 years.
I think I can confidently say, be mad, Rebels season 2, 3, and 4 take place during the Andor season 2 timeline.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
We speak your name.
Do we get Thrawn? Probably not.
No. There's no Thrawn in Andor. Ain't happening. He ain't putting a blue guy in a lead role. That is anti-Gilroy. Next screen here, just to show everyone, we're headed to the Massassi Temple. And I learned, Nick, it truly was from like the Sith fuckers, right? Like the Massassi class or caste.
The Massassi race.
Yep.
Like there was like a Massassi race of aliens. There was if you play SWTOR, there is a raid where you fight Massassi warriors and stuff like that.
But they actually like went to Yavin because it was a purposeful trip there, right? And then they erected all these temples because I don't know if it had dark side energy or force energy, but the Massassi definitely went here for a reason, built these temples, and then these dirty rebels come in and use them as their base.
Yep.
So we get to see that, which is awesome. I mean, this is why I love Andor, because it literally hand walks us into the gospel of Star Wars. Rogue One through Hope, Empire, Jedi, bing, bang, boom.
Yes.
There he is, Ben Mendelsohn, back as Krennic, and he's definitely in that ISB briefing room that we saw in season 1. So I guess that's a good question. The Death Star was such a secret. He's more than likely, Nick, not even discussing that with anyone right in this scene.
No. Yeah. No way. Not at this point, I don't think. I mean,
he might be there because, obviously he wants everything to be as secure as possible, and if there's a lot of rebel activity, he probably wants to say, "Hey guys, what the fuck are you guys doing? I'm doing something kind of important over on Scarif." But yeah, I don't think we get any direct mentions with other Imperials that don't already know about the Death Star from Krennic. Yeah.
I mean, I guess the big question is the only person that he would be able to talk to this about is Galen Erso, right? And is Galen Erso going to be in this in this show?
Yeah, I mean, Tarkin would probably know about it at this point in time. He does, because he wants the money for Stardust at the end of Bad Batch.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
So I think that it would be a mistake to leave Galen out of this show. I'll say that, because he plays, especially in the 4th arc.
Well, you know what, dude? I think at this point in time, though, he is with the family on that planet.
He's already left?
Yes.
Even by arc 1 or arc 1?
Oh, yeah.
You think he's gone? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because he leaves the Empire pretty early to get away with Jin and his wife.
Yeah. So because Jin was like a kid.
Yeah, she was probably like 10 when she had to escape and hide in that hidey hole until Crazy Uncle Saul came to get her.
Yeah. So they take him when she's a kid to go do the development on the Death Star stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's an angle for Galen to be in here,
you're
but
right.
I'm not sure where
right.
he lands.
No, you're right. I'm dumb. Yeah. I totally forgot that was in the past.
Yeah, because they're coming. Because he was coming to take him. Like, hey, bro, it's time to go.
And they slap him on Eriadu. That's right. Okay. So yeah, I think you're correct. Let's get Mads in this motherfucker. For sure.
Yeah, let's get him in there. And if Mads Mikkelsen's in it, then Lars Mikkelsen's in it. Thrawn's
he just connected the dots. He got the triumvirate. He went to Krennic, to Mads, to Lars. Thrawn is in Andor season 2. Young Nick claimed to take it to the bank.
Boom. Right there. So yeah, but I do think that especially in the 4th arc, we should at least hear a little bit about Galen, or see Galen and Krennic interacting, because he's the guy, right? He is the key. He is what he put the flaw in the Death Star. We found that out in Rogue One. He was one of the key architects. He was a friend, you could call it a friend, I guess. He was a colleague, if not maybe a tangential friend of Krennic at some point in his life.
Oh, sure.
I think it would be good that if he was added back in here.
All right, thank you, Polanco. I got there eventually. The timeline. Yeah. Usually I got my timelines together, and Nick's a little off, but he definitely corrected me this time, as he should. And the last one here, we knew it was coming. We just got to hope that it actually includes the the speculation we dropped years ago now. K2 clearly coming back. I think he will be a main 3-season arc in terms of how Cassian bonds with him. And I'm still riding strong on K2 SO gets something from B2. B2's B2's the little orange bot that, it's the Andor family droid. So
I remember him. Yeah, I think so. I think that there could be a bit of a like you said, we talked about it at the end of Andor season 1. Like, did they take that whatever, his chip, his personality chip, and kind of a
backup and upload it into this K2 murder bot? But I think one of the 3 episode arcs is going. A main thread of it is going to be the finding of K2 and the reprogramming and all that shit. So
some good questions here. League asking, I wonder if there's going to be any reference to Catalyst novel. I read about half the Catalyst novel, but here's what I'll say: I just don't like how that author's writing style, so I couldn't finish it.
Well, then there's no way Gilroy respects him either, Nick. So I would say this is a no.
He's not going to get it in, but. Callus all about Urso family and Krennic. So we may get some of that. Like, we may get some of that for sure. I do think that the Urso family through Galen is probably going to be referenced, or at least like we get to see Galen. And then Johnny asking, do we see Hayden, aka Vader?
No.
You don't think so though? Because he was in Rogue, but he was in Rogue before Tony got involved. No, because Tony did the whole hallway scene.
No, I just.
You don't think he's going to go back to the well?
He's too big for Tony. Ain't doing it in a TV show.
Yeah,
not doing it.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the point though? We don't need him. Like, literally, this Vader is not. He's not dicking around with the rebel cells. Like, he doesn't fucking care.
He's at this point too. I think that especially in years 1 and 2, like, he's on Jedi hunting duty still. Like, he's hunting down Rogue Jedi.
It ain't happening. Like, because if you bring in Vader, you almost have to bring in the top dog, and you just don't need him. But that's how good Andor is. Like, its own villains and the Empire itself is big enough.
I think that we'll have enough with. I mean, we'll get assuredly we'll get CGI Tarkin again. We'll probably, or I don't know.
No,
I mean, like, do we get CGI Tarkin? I don't think he'll do it.
Ain't gonna happen. It's just not going to do it. He's not going to do it, man. He's not going to do it. And Donnie, you're right. We always make a lot of sense. B2 is going to be a part of K2. I said that, I think, after the first episode, I met B2. So please start inscribing those plaques. I want them delivered stat. Release date, we have no clue. It's 2025. If I put my release speculation hat on, which is usually good, I nailed this year, if you think about it. I pretty much hit every window. Skeleton Crew, fucking terrible release date. I don't even know. We may just not cover a few episodes of Skeleton Crew. I'm just putting it out there. There's a good chance it just ain't going to fucking happen. Or if we do, we're going to do it like everyone else, and we're just going to do it live. Just going to fucking go on, have some screens, and be like, blah, blah, blah. Let's go back to drinking and enjoying the holidays. But Crew will probably run through December, January. We'll take a few breaks. There's really nothing in the fucking pipeline, though.
Oh, but this is one thing we didn't talk about from D23. Slight, like, stealth announcement from Lucasfilm Animation. Something is in the works. Like, they didn't say anything about what it was, but they're like,
listen, again,
we're cooking.
If people listen to us, we told you this a few weeks back when we found the job posting.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, Star Wars Time Show for the fucking win. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let's go.
So now it's like out there and confirmed. I doubt that we'll get a 2025, like Q1 2025 release. At the most, we would get a Q4 2025 animated, but that's never happened before. They've never put out an animated series in Q4. Animated has always been between February and April.
Yep.
So,
yeah, it's weird because of pausing Mandalorian, should it be a movie or TV, because of this or that, delay on renewing Ahsoka. I think the only thing on the slate for 2025 is Andor.
Is Andor.
I would then say, Nick, it's probably going to take either what Mando used to do, so late spring, or potentially get the Acolyte summer run, or knowing Tony, he's going to demand, no, I want it just like a TV show. We released end of August, early September for season 1. That's what we're doing for season 2. So
yeah, I would assume that he would ask for the same release window, but we'll see.
What
I mean, but like you said, like, what anime show you think it is? That's so hard.
It's going to be something with clones or Asajj Ventress. It has to be. Like, I'm sorry, that's just what it's going to be.
If you ask me what I want,
well, yeah, I didn't ask that.
Yeah. What anime show do you think it is? I mean, the way that they set up the end of Bad Batch season 3 is like you would assume that it's like something around Asajj, because they're like, well, we brought her back for a reason.
And it's good. Like, and they say, don't worry, it will be explained. And so unless they're doing a comic book or a book, I think the animated show is going to be post Bad Batch, focusing on Asajj. She may be main POV, but I could also see her interacting with some of the clones that didn't quite have final fates. So
so it's probably something around that. What I would want it to be is either High Republic or sequel trilogy. But
sorry, Nick, we don't always get what we want. All right. Wow.
What about pause on the Marvel stuff? I think Disney's trying to step on their toes. I'm not 100%.
Well, that's what I mean, Bat. I think we are going to have a pause in Star Wars. I mean, we've been used to getting 2 to 4 series a year, animated live mix. I don't see that happening in 25, and maybe that is a good thing. It just means Nick and I are going to have to work harder week to week to come up with stupid shit to talk about for everybody.
Yeah, I think that and I've been saying this for a while. Like, I've been go back and listen. Like, I've been saying that they need to slow down on content releases.
Well, there you go.
For a bit.
So they finally listened.
I've been saying this for over a year, and I was like, the more content you put out, the more stuff that people are going to start to get fatigued with it. And because people are getting fatigued with it, that's why there's so much more negative sentiment out there. Like, if you do less content releases, people just appreciate it more. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just the truth of anything. Right. Like, if you get a toy every day for an entire year, and then Christmas comes around and you get a toy, you're going to be like, yeah, but I got a toy every day. So, like, what's the point? Like,
no, you're right. That's happened to me with Hot Toys. I have so many, they're no longer special when they show up. It's like, oh, I got to unbox another one of these motherfuckers, take all their accessories out, and then let them sit on my desk for 6 months and get dusty.
Yeah. It becomes like a bother where it's like, oh, more fucking Hot Toys, or like, and that's what's starting to happen with Star Wars. People are like, oh, another thing, and they just hate it to hate it. But if it's like, okay, you only get 2 Star Wars per year, or you only get 1 Star Wars per year, people are gonna be like, oh, I'm like, what's the new thing? I'm excited.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. I think at this point, Nick's talked me into Andor season 2, end of August. It's gonna get that slot, because if you think about it, that's when they typically want to release either new stuff or big stuff, because if you think that's when a lot of new TV starts. So it's just the season. Okay. Well, we got to get moving on past this, or we're going to be here all night.
That is true.
Hey, Bat, I never got the Arena Boba. That is one Boba I did not buy. The all black armor Boba, I did not get that one. Okay. Let's get into some Skeleton Crew action here. I picked some of the slides here. I don't anticipate this one taking a ton of time, because if you think about it, there really wasn't a ton shown, but I definitely have some things I want to talk to Nick about. Don't worry, I recorded all the dialogue. I know all the lines, so we can use those for any potential insight. But here we go. Let's kind of comb through Skeleton Crew's first trailer. Real quick, I thought it was a good little trailer. I think it did what it needed to do. It kind of set up what the show is going to be about, that the kids are the main focus, and that they get into some shit because they're at a point in their life like, hey, let's do something for real. You know, it feels like, Nick, when the trailer starts, it's looking like Wim is going to probably be the main kid character. You know what I mean? Like Sean Astin's Goonies character. So Wim, who I believe is a client of one SW Props, we start with him laying in his bed, and you can tell he's dreaming. He's looking up at the sky. He's looking at his mobile, and his mobile has little starships on it. You can tell that this kid has bigger ideas dreams, plans, wishes for his life than what he currently feels he's going through.
Sounds like a familiar hero, right? Sounds like Luke Skywalker.
But the problem is, as we see in the next shot, this dude's literally on like a Coda bus that you'd find in Columbus, Ohio, going down an idyllic looking street. We got evergreen trees. We got deciduous trees. We got houses that look like they're on my fucking block. We got grass. We got shrubs. We got yards.
Paved roads. Cars.
It's a full on Earth suburb.
Yeah.
So this is the first thing, Nick, I saw is like, wow, it's almost visually jarring, but I like it. Like, we've never seen something like this in Star Wars, ever.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, if you watch Star Wars, all the Star Wars you see now, you're like, do all kids just grow up destitute with no parents? Or, like, are they all working on farms?
Everyone looks
like,
fucking homeless or beat down.
Yeah, so it is a very refreshing take on the Star Wars galaxy, and it makes sense. Like, you have an entire galaxy of planets. Of course, some of them are going to be, like, very normal Earth-like planets where people are going to school and shit like that.
And especially for this show's premise, the four kids find a mysterious ship. It makes sense that this is where they live. It just fits. Like they're just like any other kid that grew up in the United States or around this globe. And I think that will help a lot of fans, especially the older ones. The kids, they should get right into it. But the older ones, I think it's going to help them relate to it. Like, oh, yeah, that's like my childhood. That's like the neighborhood I grew up in. I had friends on the neighborhood that we always hung out and pretended and played stuff. So, I mean, it reminds me of Mason Drive in Pittsburgh, PA, where I grew up. So I thought that was very interesting to see in Star Wars.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome stuff.
Next one here. Like I said, we get the first voiceover, and it's coming from the teacher. We see these kids. They're in this huge classroom, and they're about to take a test. And it sounds like this test essentially is, for lack of a better term, communistic. And let me explain. She literally says, tomorrow's test will set the course of your entire future. So to me, it's like these kids have to take a test, and this test, in my mind, Nick, dictates their role in life. Kind of like communism. Like, oh, well, you're going to Space Corps. Oh, you're going to Junk Corps. Oh, you're going to, the Maintenance Corps.
Yeah, it almost is akin to, like, if you've ever taken those, like, if you've ever had to take like a personality test when you were younger to be like, oh, this is, like, you can only be this. Like, you would be, like, you talk to your counselor after and they're like, oh, well, your test scores say that you would be a really good mechanic
janitor,
or some shit like that. Yeah. So yeah, it is interesting to see how this is going to play out and like, but again, that's some shit that, like, if you ever took standardized tests when you were in school, it's like, oh yeah, take this standardized test and this will decide whether you go into the advanced classes.
Are you an idiot or a normal kid?
Yeah. Are you a remedial student or are you a
the special class? Right, that's what they called it back then.
Devin's call out's really good. Starship Trooper citizenship.
That's kind of what I'm envisioning. Like, because you can tell Wim, he's like, fuck, and then as we keep going down the trailer. Yeah, we get to see Fern, who is the girl without the visor. She's kind of daydreaming too. There's the teacher, kind of talking about this test and the course, your entire future. Imagine hearing that as these kids are probably 10, 11, 12 going into middle school. Like, oh, fuck. And we get another voiceover from Wim. He's like, don't you want to do anything exciting? And then you hear from Neil, like what? And then Wim again says, what if we could go anywhere we wanted in the whole galaxy? So, it's these kids. They're like, let's quit pretending, let's have an adventure before. I think this is what it's going to be, Nick. Their impetus for kind of doing something they probably shouldn't do is like, let's have one big shebang before our lives change. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think so. I think that this is like, or almost it's like they're just trying to be kids. Like it's just like that kid desire to be like, I just want to go out. Like, I just got finished with school. Like, I just want to go out and play. And like, it seems like like the lines that you were saying from Wim, like, what if we could go anywhere? It seems like he knows about this ship.
Well, let me keep getting through the script, buddy, and it kind of all comes into play. But like I said, Wim, I believe, is the ringleader. He's the dreamer. He's the one that's going to be putting these ideas into everyone's head. If the friend group feels like Wim and Neil, and then KB and Fern, but all four kind of hang, right?
Yeah.
So we get a shot of KB. She's the one with the visor, and we learned from the trailer she is not like, damn it, Geordi. It's not something she has to wear. She can flip it up and down. So I mean, who knows? Maybe maybe it helps her see. Who the hell knows? But she's not constantly stuck wearing that. But kind of replying to Nick, Wim follows up with, a real adventure, no more pretend. So I think you are right. I think like he kind of says something here that kind of leads into your theory that he stumbles upon this, he starts getting the idea, and then when he hears like, oh fuck, I'm going to take a test that's going to change the future of my life, he's like, guys, this is it. Like, again, Goonies, guys, one last time before we move, right? The house is sold. One last adventure. This is it. We're getting it here. So I'm with you though. Wim is the one kind of, I don't want to say the bad seed, but he'll be the one kind of laying down that peer pressure. Like, come on, guys. Oh, look at Neil with that. You are right. I didn't even notice he had that little comb over. That is amazing. Comb over. That is absolutely amazing. He's got a stylish little jacket and a blue shirt on. What a pimp. But I got just a shot of the street because at one point in time, like, you know how you and I were like, I wonder if these kids are in a different galaxy and they're going to get shot over to ours or vice versa. But it's very clear this is the known Star Wars galaxy. We got Ithorians cutting their grass. You got to love that.
Dude, that's so awesome.
We eventually see some X-Wings in here. So we know where we're at. And actually, Nick, I think at this point it's safe to say they are not going to be shot out of the galaxy. No. I think they get lost in the known galaxy.
Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like they just stumble their way into like a planetary, like a system, like in Star Wars, you have the galaxy and then you have the systems, right?
Correct.
You're in the Bosnian system or whatever.
We all forget there's also an unknown part of the galaxy.
Yep.
That, not Pretty. Remember, Pretty is it's its own galaxy. You need special shit, either whales or that big ass ring to get over there. We're talking unknown galaxy. So Uncharted, all right? It exists, but they don't really know what's going on. Yeah. Next screen here, Nick, of Wim holding his iPad. And to me, it sure as shit looks like a Rancor going against a Jedi with a green lightsaber. Is this, are we seeing the legend of Luke Skywalker? Like playing out across the galaxy on little kids' tablets?
It definitely could be.
He's still kicking around, like he's the guy right now. I mean, he is the Luke Skywalker, and it seems like he's already having his legend written through digital tapestries or little stories kids watch on their iPads.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like he is the savior of the galaxy. Like Luke like every kid growing up knows who Luke Skywalker is. I mean, and it goes back to what Ray was saying, right? Like in TFA, like, oh, the legends were true.
Yeah, they're
Luke
like gods.
Skywalker.
They were like gods.
Yeah, like it's
the Solos,
the stories
the
that have been
Skywalkers.
told.
Yep. What I want to know is what asshole got the story wrong to where they said Luke had his lightsaber when he went against the Rancor.
Yeah, he clearly didn't have
it's
that.
It's a little fucked up. But anyways, we'll give him a break. So again, playing in the Nick's theory here, Wim again says, I found something buried in the woods. And this is where him and Neil, you can tell he's starting to sell the idea to his buddy first. It looks like they go to the girls, like they flip open their secret shack shed and they're like, essentially, hey guys, look, we got an idea for one last hurrah, possibly a real adventure before our lives change and we may never see each other again. And we see him trekking out through the woods. Beautiful shot there, by the way. It's one of the stills we got a couple weeks ago. Just beautiful cinematography, it looks like. Mm-hmm. But then they find this thing in the woods, right? And they start a door opens and they say, "What do you think it is?" And Wim is very hard on Jedi. You can tell, like that's going to be a thing with this character. I think Nick, like he's almost like a Jedi super fan. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, he's like that. when I grow up, I want to be a Jedi.
Yeah. No,
Like,
I didn't say he
like,
literally has a hard on for Jedi.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like his thing where I like to, collect baseball cards and shit as a kid. I think this guy likes collecting Jedi stuff and learning about and thinking about the Jedi. Because remember, these people still, their only Jedi are in the history books in this crazy motherfucker Luke Skywalker that took down the Empire. So that's all they know.
There's no out and about expanded Jedi Order at this time. Like it's still
Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
And Ahsoka and everyone else that shows up after the fact. But hey, we don't have to keep score, right?
I mean, who knows who else is out there?
But you can tell, Nick, and we know as the audience that it is not a Jedi temple, because that's what Wim says next, which just reinforces my pitch here that this kid is a Jedi nut. Like, he loves the Jedi. That's all he thinks about. But considering how it really does look like it's a part of the Earth, kind of like Kalnaka's ship in what the hell was that show? Acolyte on Kofor.
Yeah.
How long do you think this ship was there then? I mean, dude, it's got like vines growing inside of it. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah.
Hundreds, thousands?
This has got to be like a downed... Like, okay.
You think could this be like High Republic era type of shit?
I was thinking either Republic or High Republic, like an old Republic like an old Republic ship cool. that crashed maybe or something like that, because even by this point an old Republic ship would be what, like 50 years, like almost 50 years old.
Well, maybe? No, dude, old Republic, it would be hundreds and hundreds of years old.
The old Republic, like
it'd be
thousands of years
but even High Republic, it could be hundreds for sure.
Yeah so like it's got to be something old. I would assume. I don't know, man. Maybe High Republic would make the most sense, I think. Well, if you're going to try to like tie
shit
back
together. I'm with you there. And maybe it is a Jedi ship from that era. That makes things even more interesting. But anyways, again, I'm loving the cinematography. The lighting so far has been really interesting in the show.
Oh, dude. If there's a whole ass skeleton in there, this thing has been there for a while.
There definitely is a whole ass skeleton. We're coming up on it. So, I think it's a Lost Jedi temple, and then someone says, "Be careful where you step," and that's where the trailer kind of moves into its quick hits of here. You can see the kids entering the ship, like we said. I mean, the earth around it has taken it over. I mean, there's roots coming into it. There's roots hanging from the ceiling. It looks like it is a part of the earth at this point in time. Then we move into some action shots. It looks like this is either, I think, Nick, this is them like accidentally taking off, or they're in the middle of one of their whatever hijinks come across these kids as they're kind of gallivanting around the galaxy.
Yep.
There's your skull. Does not look human per se, right? Look how big those eye sockets are.
Yeah, it's like very large eye sockets, very kind of like sunken, like the jaw and everything is very sunken. I don't know what that, it's so hard to tell. Yeah, I'm not getting a specific
alien race that comes to mind, but the eyes definitely seem a little bit bigger, almost like, caricature aliens, just the big black eyes and the round head type of look.
That's what it's like. Nautilin, maybe, like think Kit Fisto, which has like the really big, like blacked out eyes and stuff.
But it does kind of look like if you look at the garb, it almost feels piratey already.
Yeah. Could, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Not that you can tell much, but anyway,
you can't tell much, but it could have like a bit of a pirate ship kind of feel to it, which we know is, involved in this series.
So like you said, I mean, a decayed body, full skeleton, we're talking at least hundreds of years it's been sitting here.
Yeah, I would assume
this is them on the ship. Who knows if this is like when it starts to kind of light up. Mm-hmm. There's SM-33. Okay, that's a droid we told you about a few weeks back. I think I'm gonna dig this droid. He's got a peg leg. We saw that from D23. So Nick, this probably was a pirate ship then. I mean, hell, it could be Nihil, right?
It could be. It could be an old Nihil ship.
What I remember now from D23, I mean, this droid is built like a pirate, so it just makes sense that this might have been a pirate ship of some sort, unless throughout the show, we see them repair his leg with a peg.
Yeah, where they just like shove a piece of wood onto it. Okay, now you can stand.
But I think I'm going to dig this guy. He kind of has that K2SO look in the head, but not.
Yeah.
But not.
Yeah, I said the facial structure looks similar to K2 and the Imperial security droids.
So there, this could very well be the first time they pop off in the hyperspace, and it does look like
I will say this.
Wim is the one to do it.
If they pop off in the hyperspace with these two standing up like that, they may get tossed back on their ass.
Yeah, they usually said you should strap in. So
yeah, it was a strap in.
All right, so here's a shot we get of the ship they're on. I mean, it's U-wing-esque, but a lot bigger. It looks like they're at some sort of asteroid.
This is like almost like a mining cluster.
Yeah. I mean, they're you can see, Nick, they've got like all these ships kind of tethered to this asteroid floating in space. There is a hangar that they could land in. A lot of the larger ships are just literally, if you dock the boat and tied a string, are kind of hanging up there. So it looks like you would have to think that this ship, if it is a pirate ship, it probably had pre-programmed hyperspace coordinates in it. And
yeah,
once they enabled it, it just probably took them right back to where it came from, or a last known location, which this location, Nick, looks very seedy, piratey, the dark denizens of the galaxy like to hang out here type of place.
Yeah, not a place that kids would want to hang out.
Right. This is where we start getting more dialogue. They go, "We are lost. Really lost." And you can see that they like scale this snowy mountain, and they look down, and it looks like there's a camp of some sort. There's even like this, it looks like a furnace is going on, or a kiln to melt down something.
Yeah, it's, like I said, it looks like it's like a mining facility of some sort. Yeah. And look, there's even, I guarantee you it's a mining facility, because there's literally a canary in a fucking cage. The canary in the coal mine. Oh, there you go. That's that little,
far. Man, that's like a canary / guinea pig hamster. Yes,
something. But I assume that they're using that in a similar way to like old miners would use a canary to figure out if there's too much like gas further, like, if there's like dangerous gases that are deep within.
I do like that. I just put that screen in because that's a cool looking little furry animal thing. Next one here, we got Jawas. They're off-worlders, so I'm not sure why they have yellow eyes. I thought off-world Jawas went red, but we're not going to grasp at straws here. So to me, Nick, the fact that we're seeing Jawas, this kind of confirms we're in our galaxy still, right?
Galaxy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here's this goofy looking guy. I think he was one of the ones to say, "Be careful where you step," or "'Tis dangerous out there in space." Yeah, that's what he says. "'Tis dangerous out there in space." And here we see like this big claw. It's starting to eat their ship, and I think it's from the same planet we're on, Nick. I think they might recycle ships. Yeah. Because if you look at the next screen, you literally see this thing eating their ship. Like
fully
eating it.
Yeah.
So I think when we saw the 4 kids in the trailer kind of crest that crater, their ship might have been commandeered and they're trying to get it back. And this thing is going to try and eat it as they are escaping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next slide. Check this character out. I mean, it's literally an owl.
It's an owl. Yeah.
And he seems to be on like a telescope of some sort, or some like astronomical or astrological type of station, right? Like if you see what I mean? Like even on the pillars, Nick, you got like circles and lines to other circles. It feels very astrology based.
Yeah. I love how his head's turned completely around too. Like he's sitting forward and he just turns his head all the way around, just like an owl. Yeah,
I dig it. Even though it's like literally just an owl, I'm down.
Yeah.
Here's SM33. He clearly ultimately probably befriends the kids after they wake him up in his ship, and he's the one that says trust no one, right? And then we get into a more just a montage of action. Here's the Wolfman, right? The Wolfman from the cantina. I don't know if it's the exact one, but he's clearly a pirate. He's got pirate guns, literally pirate guns hanging off his chest. Look at that, Nick. I mean, it's like a 1600s revolver that he's got to stuff a ball down in it, right?
That's what I was gonna say. The grip of that pistol is so pirate.
I mean,
just
it's like
old school Caribbean pirate.
He might as well have a Corsair, so he can swashbuckle or whatever the hell they're called.
Dude, that would be great if he did. He had like a vibro blade that was just
pulls it out and it looks like a fencing blade. I love it. So, these people are probably coming after them, maybe because they're just pirates and they want a free ship. Or, Nick, do you think that this ship, because it's so old, it might be the key to something that people are looking for?
I mean, maybe,
like
right?
Pirates in particular. Like maybe it has the coordinates to a treasure that they've all been looking for.
That's exactly what if we're gonna go back to Goonies vibes, dude. It's like this is the ship that this is whatever. Like just think about any old pirate lore, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is Santa Anna's ship, and it had the this had the gold from whatever on it.
I think so
El
too.
Dorado.
I think we're gonna get light tie-ins to what's happening in the galaxy. But I think the show fully focuses on these kids' adventure, and I think it is going to involve not only them trying to get home and who do you trust, who can you trust, who shouldn't you trust, but also why was the ship there? What's the ship about? Why are pirates coming after these kids? Do they just want a ship? But I think Nick is right. I think it is going to be there's going to be some significance to this ship, the pirates, and something they've been looking for possibly hundreds of years.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
Next, it's them again being pursued in space. So, I mean, they're going to be dealing with all sorts of shit. And we know eventually they do get incarcerated, as we see towards the end.
And that's...
Here, we kind of... It looks like their ship has docked with someone, right? It's one of those, like, circular tubes that you can kind of leave a ship to go into another ship. An airlock, I think is what some people call them. Yeah. This is a crazy-ass looking crab monster.
Yeah, I know. This crab monster is nuts.
If you notice the screen I have, if you're on the live stream, if you're not, just go to StarWarsTime.net and check out our Skeleton Crew trailer post with screenshots. There's a little R2 unit stuck on that bad boy shell.
Yep.
You see that?
Yep. Yeah.
So it's almost like it's
top left.
It's kind of like the crab from Moana, right?
Kind of. Yeah.
Who collects like sea shit. Yeah.
Like, just
dig it.
Junk on the back of his back.
Dig it. All right, this is where you got the kids again. They're looking up, and lo and behold, we get some X-Wings that kind of come by this night-looking dark planet we've been seeing throughout the trailer. So that's another sign that, hey, we're definitely in the known galaxy. And I guess why are X-Wings showing up? Who knows? Maybe something popped off on this planet because of the kids. The pirates did something. They caused enough of the commotion that they're sending some of the Rangers out there. Could be Tiva coming out to see what the hell's going on.
Could be.
And then as we kind of wrap things, Nick, you see this key, literally a skeleton key, lift off a post and float towards someone's hands. We see little Wim looking like, holy shit, you're a Jedi. Going back to what I'm saying, like Wim is like so hard on Jedi. And we see him right there. Jad Na Nawood, played by that guy. What the hell's his name? Yeah, Jude Law.
Jude Law.
So I guess to kind of wrap this up, clearly Jad Na knows how to use the Force.
Yeah.
Is he a Jedi, or is he just one of these people out there that can use the Force, and we probably shouldn't trust him, and the kids probably shouldn't trust him in the long run?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about this timeline, right? Like, Jedi aren't really a thing, like we were saying. Like, Jedi, yeah, you got Luke, you got Leia. Luke is, at this time, like, trying to recruit people for a semi-Jedi academy. I think that this dude is he's a guy that's just been Force sensitive his whole life and has been able to keep it, I mean, I would say under wraps, but he's in prison for some reason.
Well, that's the first thing I was going to say, Nick. I almost feel like this guy has designs once these kids show up, because if you could always just lift the key and get yourself out, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, so it seems shady right from the start that he's like, oh, hey, you kids, you're the ones tied to that ship that showed up. Okay, yeah. I'm going to try to work my angle here finally.
Yeah, unless they all get thrown into the cell at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Okay, you're right. You're right.
Unless it's like they pick up these kids.
I think you're spot on, though. I think you're right. I think it's going to be some hijinks where they all kind of get locked up or processed at the same time. I hope so, because otherwise it's like it gets into those things where you start to question the writers. Like, If he has the Force and the key's been sitting there the whole time, like what was he waiting for?
You know what it seems like? It seems like he's a thief.
Yes.
That has the Force.
Yes.
And then when he pulls it, and then Wim is like, "Oh my God, you're a Jedi." He just uses it. He's like, "Yes, I'm a Jedi.
I think so.
Come with me and let's get out of here."
I think you're 100% correct, Nick. And it's going to start that way, where like he is shady, and he's definitely, playing doubles with these kids, like not really revealing who he is. But I think over time, being with the kids, being on the run, going through some shit, he will eventually realize that, you know what, I these kids need me. I actually need them too. Yeah. I'm gonna kind of change my ways a bit and maybe start doing things righteously versus the shady shit I've been doing my whole life.
You know what I think's gonna happen too is like Wim seems like he knows.
Yeah, he'll
Jedi
call him out.
history.
You're right. He'll call him out.
Because Jod and I will be like, "Oh yeah, I'm a Jedi," and then like as it goes on, he'll do something, and then Wim will be like, "Well, that's not what Jedi do. Right. Like Jedi don't do things like that." And then he'll just like keep being like, "Oh, but like you can do it if you need to, like if it's
Yeah, no.
And then eventually Wim will be like, "You're not really a Jedi, are you?" Like he'll crack it after a while.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. This guy does not have good intentions the first time he meets these kids. I'm not saying he wants to murder them, but he definitely wants to use them.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, y'all came here with a ship."
Exactly.
And
it could be, that ship? Yeah, hey, Jedi, I'll get you back. Let's go to Coruscant. I know Luke Skywalker. I got him on my holo pad.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he just leads these kids on. It's just,
Jod Nah, I think, is going to be a very cool character. It's going to be...
I think so,
because you typically don't see Force users that are just straight shady unless they are dark side.
And that's the thing, like you said, like just completely unaligned. It's like, I don't care about the dark side or the light side. All I know is I can pull shit like this with my hands and nobody notices. I really do think that he's just going to be the true definition of like a scoundrel that can use the Force. Like he's just like this dude who's,
And you know what, Nick, maybe he was, but he doesn't look that old. I mean, he looks the same age as, well, I guess he's a little older than Luke, but you could technically make the case that he might have been like a very tiny Padawan at one point in time, and that's where he at least,
a youngling.
Yeah, where he at least learned the basics of how to tap into his Force potential. But yeah, he does not have good intentions to start. I do think, as we all see, even with, I mean, listen, we all love Sloth, but if you remember Sloth from Goonies, he kind of started out on the bad side, right? I mean, he was essentially the prison guard for Chunk. But until him and Chunk, shared some laughs watching TV, ate some Rocky Road, Superman, they became best friends. Sloth ends up helping him in the end. So, right here, Jod Nah in the Wood, he is the Sloth of Skeleton Crew. Except
there you go.
He's not deformed, and I think he can speak more than just a few words.
I think so.
Hey there, Darth LVJ. Welcome
LVJ.
to the just in time for the fan segment. Actually,
just in time for us to start wrapping things up. But I mean, it looks fun. Like Skeleton Crew looks like it's going to be a fun jaunt through the galaxy, and I think that's what it's going to be. I don't think that this is going to be something that's like, oh, how is this going to push forward the plot of the New Republic? And no,
you're right.
This is going to be like, these kids are running around different planets having fun, and here's what the moral of the story is going to be. It's not about the treasure you find; it's about the friends you make along the way. Right? That's always the message.
That's right, brother.
Stories.
That is right. It really is. I mean, everyone is going to learn a lesson in the end. Everything, it's going to end on a high note. And I do think we get some light lore dumps, but nothing like hardcore exposition. Like you'll get some little. You might hear like, oh, hey, Thrawn's back in the galaxy. You might hear that on like on a distant radio
chatter.
somewhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Chatter.
Good deal. December 3rd. So we'll probably cover it up to the holidays, and then I honestly, I'm not fucking around. I don't know how my brain's gonna handle the 2 weeks during the holidays here in the States. It's just like that's a sacred time for me. Not because I love Jesus and baby Jesus and all that shit, but just it's one of the few weeks of the year that I just See a discipline, live a little. And for me, living a little is not spending 8 hours on Christmas Day or New Year's Day breaking down Skeleton Crew. So I really don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Nick may help because I know Nick. He's going to be like, hey, fuck it, dude. I ain't doing shit. I'm going to be at home. Yeah. Fuck off. If you want to do something, do it. Otherwise, we'll talk when I get back. So
I'm going to be in Louisiana and I'm not going to have I'm with you,
man. Honestly, I might just take your lead. I think at best, I could convince myself to get on at one of those days and just chat for like an hour or so and see what happens. But I do not think I can do my whole shoot match like I do. Watching it, taking notes, getting all the screens, making my own video that I then clip out into other clips, and then setting up a post for the show. So we'll worry about when we get there.
Everybody else is going to be doing the same thing as we are, so nobody's going to watch it.
I know. Dude, I'm trying to like therapy it out right now. Like I have to start now. Almost, 4 months before it comes out, I have to start getting into my head that it's going to be okay if Matt doesn't dedicate his life and time to Skeleton Crew. I can do this, people. Yeah. Give me hope. Give me support.
There you go.
All right, my friend. It's that time of the show, and hey, we went long anyways, as we typically do. It's been good. We hadn't seen each other for a few weeks, so hot air had to be expelled. Exactly. But if you're new here, we always dedicate the last segment of our show to our fans. We have Question of the Week, which we're going to do right here in about 2 minutes. And as you see on the screen, our top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. The way to get involved in Q of the Week is, hey, follow us on Discord, Instagram, YouTube, even Twitter these days. I posted up there. You just got to be following, turn on those notifications so you can see the prompt and lay down your comment. For the top 5 deal, this is Instagram only, at StarWarsTime.show. Make sure to tag that account. That's the only way you will be considered for the top 5. Otherwise, you may just make the lowly reel whenever I feel like doing those. And I have to give myself a pat on the back. This is huge news. I can't believe I waited this long to talk about it. I quit SWTS.
Oh, there you go.
Quit. Like fucking hard quit. I wasn't an asshole. I let the guild know. I'm like, hey, listen, guys, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I'll stay on as long as you need me. They found a replacement within 24 hours. I was out. It took about 4 to 5 days to kind of break the routine of, all right, I'm taking a shit in the morning. Let's open up SWTS so I can go through my dailies. And the Jar Jar event was going on, so I was trying to play through that, and then I got to the last phase, and it was crazy. I was like, well, that ain't worth it. But I can confidently say it's probably been 6 days since I've even launched the app. I think it's dead to me.
Look at that.
Almost 9 years of life, daily grinding, gone in a flash.
There you go. Hey, now you can dedicate that time to other things.
Well, you know what that's turned into? It's
just
picking up my phone and doom scrolling through the news is what it's replaced. Or I haven't started editing toy photos again, even though I have a bunch to do. I haven't gotten to watching more series. So bear with me. It's going to take a little time to kind of figure out how to recoup all my SWTS time throughout a day and actually turn it into more productivity. So I did that. And the other thing, I didn't do real features, I think, for 3 days straight. I'm starting to break free of my SWTS and SWTS OCD. Big time. All right.
There you go. Look at it, B-Mad saying, as your biggest fan, I think you should take a break for the holidays. You guys are some of the most consistent content creators. Well, thank you,
That's
B-Mad.
why we love B-Mad. And I'm with you, brother. I get listen, this is a me problem. This is not Nick. I'm the one that's going to have to work through this. As silly as it sounds, I'm probably going to have to bring this up with my therapist. That's how intense I am with my narcissism and the need for people to go, oh, Matt, Star Wars lore, give it to us. All right. So I do appreciate that, though. That may or may not help. I've got problems, bro. All right, man. Question of the week. Let's go ahead and get the screen up here. We'll hide the browser for a little bit. As it goes when we're not in season, especially with a show that pisses everyone off, the responses are light. So that's a good thing for Nick and I this week. But I was just asking everyone, hey, what was your favorite reveal from D23 and why? I didn't even say it had to be Star Wars related, but it was crickets. So there you go, buddy. Yeah. This one coming from Abigail.
Abigail Sky, and they agree with me. They say my favorite reveals were the new villains land at Disney World. Same, I said that. Hey, and the addition of Mando and Grogu to the Smuggler's Run ride because I have a Disney World Florida resident annual pass and need to go more often. Also, Andor S2 because Andor is my favorite show, but we already knew that was coming. So hey,
all right,
Abigail Sky, big fan of the Villains
another
Land.
Disney junkie like young Nick.
There we go. 2797 Studios, Mr. Bat says, I think the Mando and Grogu clips were the most hype and looks great, but as a hardcore fan, Andor too. This is the meat we've been looking for. Haters be damned. Can't wait to flesh out the stories up to Rogue One. And then League jumps in and says, what Bat said. So League and Bat are in agreement. And then Air Rick 3 says Grogu and the Anzellans.
I kind of like that. His name actually is Eric. That should just be a
show, dude.
Yeah,
Eric.
I like it.
Let's just make that let's make that an animated show, right? Grogu and the Anzellans.
Yes. Hey,
just running around the galaxy.
They definitely are teaming up for one reason or another. So
that is true.
And that's question of the week. So if you want that to be more informative, more colorful, like I said, make sure you're following us. Turn on notifications because the algo doesn't usually show our shit to anyone naturally.
That's right. All right. So, but yeah, there we go. So thank you to anybody who did reply. And like Matt said, follow us on the Instagram. And next up, now's the time for the top 5 Star Wars fan arts features of the week. To get involved, follow us at that same StarWarsTime.show on Instagram. Tag us, tag at StarWarsTime.show on all your Star Wars Instagram posts. That's how you get involved. First up in the top 5 this week is an absolutely awesome shot from the Marco, _Marco, and then Marco just has periods in between each letter on Instagram. And Marco is giving us an absolutely amazing shot of Khmer and Plagueis, and this Plagueis head sculpt is just incredibly well detailed.
I don't know where this dude gets these fucking figures, man, but here we go. This is my custom
head print.
So Bounty Supply Co., but then Marco paints all the shit, which is just as impressive as printing the sculpt.
The painting on the detail work and the painting on this head sculpt is absolutely insane from Marco. And I mean, this shot is so indicative of what we've been talking about with the connection between Khmer and Plagueis. Like seeing this master-apprentice relationship, whether it's still happening or whether it's a thing of the past, but like just getting information on Khmer and Plagueis and their background. So like just awesome shot here from the Marco.
Excuse me. For those that like to build customs, especially characters you can't get, they created this Plagueis using the Black Series Snoke body and then obviously the printed head from Bounty Supply Co. to get this done.
There you go. Good stuff. Next up, we have Max Maldini.
You know who got themselves a fucking custom Khmer? I just saw it today. Sir Dork.
Of course. He
took a nasty picture of it. A Galaxy Far, Far Away's got one too. Everyone... This guy, again, you got to look at all the custom kits you need to buy, but they're using the what is it? It's not Luke, but it's the Luke from that comic where he's in all black. So that's the base body, and then they just get the Khmer helmet and the gauntlet to put on. And it looks fucking awesome. Anyways, back to the artists that are being honored today.
That's right. Yes. So next up is Max Maldini. Max Maldini has been featured many times on the Star Wars Time show, but this is the first in a bit. And I just love this. So what we see here is a shot of a stormtrooper commander and out on the field, super muddied up. It's just a real black and white, just a really great like wartime.
Yeah,
photo.
It's like a World War II shot, but on Mimban.
Exactly, like Mimban, old school, just black and white, down in the dirt. Stormtrooper in the mud photo, just in the film grain he put on it too to make it feel like those old school World War II shots.
It's kind of vignetted. See how like the corners are darkened so the lights focus in the center. And the best part is, people, this is a tiny guy. This is a 3.75 incher. So to make him look that big and real, and like I said, World War II kind of black and white, excellent work from Max Maldini, all one word, on Instagram.
That's right. Next up, we got Star Wars Rick, and Star Wars Rick is hitting us with an awesome Cad Bane shot running through an Imperial facility, gunning down stormtroopers left and right, and he's having a good time doing it with that smile on his face. Love the posing of the dead bodies. Love the posing of Cad himself. Just a fun shot overall from Star Wars Rick.
Yeah, and I think this is the New Republic era Cad Bane, based on the hat with the shielding, and he looks slightly different. So yeah, I mean, good looking shot from Cad. I like how Star Wars Rick kept things all practical here. Just had the gun blast effects coming out of his pistols, not fucking around with Photoshop and whatnot. Looks solid. Yeah. Star Wars _ Rick.
That's right. Next up, Mr. Stormtrooper Davis giving us.
This is so cool.
This one's awesome. The scene recreation here from Ahsoka season finale with all of the zombie stormtroopers. And we're getting this from like a very interesting perspective, like a low angle shot, kind of looking at what was the main like stormtrooper guy's name? I can't remember now. Enoch.
There you go.
Enoch. So looking at Enoch in the center, along with all the other zombified stormtroopers shooting.
Oh, that's not Enoch. That's just one of the dudes that had like a gray helmet.
Oh, okay, yeah, I thought it. Yeah,
Enoch had like that Roman gold face.
Yeah, exactly. The full Roman helmet. But yeah, this setup's awesome, and I don't know what diorama he used, but it looks it's almost digital. Like spot on.
It's a digiorama. Yeah, wow. Clearly he's got like flooring in front of it, but just the way Mr. Stormtrooper knows how to stage shots now. The other thing, this is mixed scale. So you got the little figures, the big figures. It's just a very well laid out scene. Yeah,
I mean, that's some impressive work from Mr.
It's like show still. Davis. It's show still.
Just beautiful stuff. Well, there you go. Mr. Stormtrooper Davis on Instagram. Make sure to give them a follow. And then to close out the top 5, we actually mentioned it earlier. Season 4.
Well, it's not over yet, Nick. Don't talk too soon.
Yeah, it's true. But this is the showdown, right? The showdown between Kenobi,
as if it took place a few years earlier.
A little bit earlier.
Because this is like fresh out of Rot's Kenobi.
Yeah, so this is an old man Kenobi. Yeah, this isn't like Rebels old Kenobi, the figure, but the setup is the same. You got the campfire out in the Tatooine desert, the showdown between Maul and Kenobi. But yes, it is using a younger Kenobi figure. But I do like, this is from the Collectible Critic on Instagram. I like how they got the scene set up. I like the star, like how they got the stars.
Oh, yeah.
It almost
all
like
practical too. I mean, everything in this is practical outside of the effect for the lightsabers.
Lightsaber effects. Yeah,
because I mean, it's the person, they got like little sticks and like lit up some lint for the fire.
It's like a cotton ball on fire. It almost looks like they put like a black sheet in the background and like projected some like starlight onto it.
Exactly.
I mean, it just, for it being like a majority practical, looks really good, and they really nailed the poses of both Kenobi and Maul in this shot. So very impressive work here by the Collectible Critic on Instagram.
Agreed.
And hey, that's the end of the top 5, and that's the end of our show for this week. Thanks for coming back, everybody. So Matt, go ahead and close us on out.
That's right. We're back. I don't think we're going anywhere anytime soon, at least till when Skeleton Crew kicks off in December and I jump off a cliff. But we appreciate everyone coming back. All the diehards are in there. There's Linda showing up right at the end. We haven't seen Linda in a while. Good to see you again, Linda. It's been a bit. We always appreciate those of you that join the live. And hey, those of you that listen on the podcast, we love you too. I sent Nick, we got some analytics over the break, and it's like, woo, podcast numbers are looking nice. So if you are on the podcast, let us know. Send us an email, DM us through one of our social accounts, which you can find on StarWarsTime.net. We always love to hear how you found the show, why you decided to stick around, or hell, even if you decide to leave, let us know. We are down and open for feedback, unlike most content creators that don't want to hear anything. We want to hear everything. Best way to do that, though, is like I said, head on over to StarWarsTime.net, find those social links, follow us, turn on notifications, send those messages, let us know how you found the SWTS, why you decided to stick around, and why you haven't convinced 50,000 other people to do the same thing. Just tell them there's always time for Star Wars Time. You just need to go to StarWarsTime.net to get linked in. We got our YouTube on there. Look, it's right here, right down here. You just click on that. You're already subscribed. Super easy. Podcast too, right here. You want Apple? We got it. Spotify, got it. Amazon, got it. Android, Pandora, iHeart, TuneIn, Deezer, RSS. Hell, you can even download the damn thing if you want it. We just want the more, the merrier. That's our mantra over here at the SWTS. More the merrier. We have fun. We appreciate you all, like I said. We love you all, mostly. And we are glad to be back talking Star Wars. And this time, it's just whatever the hell comes across the desk and a special topic in the back pocket. So next week, since there's no D23 coming, get ready for an SWTS special topic. I have not picked it yet. I'm going to have to run by a few with young Nick, and we'll settle on that and be planned and ready for next Wednesday. There's always time for Star Wars Time, my friends. And don't forget, if you listen to the Star Wars Time show, the Force will be with you always.